Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Monday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. Today's going to be a little bit different. Unfortunately, the guest that we had scheduled, there was a conflict in scheduling. So we're going to have to reschedule his podcast episode and get it, rescheduled for everybody. So, yeah. So tonight I'm going to be joined with Mr. Matt Johnson from Triple Threat Vets and James Thornton from Warrior Rounds. Fellas, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. It's been, had a good weekend.
Hello.
Had a good weekend.
Is it still cold up there?
No, today was beautiful.
What's beautiful for y'all?
74 today.
Well, today was 74.
February.
Yeah. So today was beautiful. And tomorrow in the AM, it's supposed to be like 60-something degrees starting off the day. And then I think it's supposed to get up right around 74, 75 again tomorrow. I want to give a shout out to Conversations with a Vet. That's Miss Cora Lee.
Hi, Cora Lee.
She's not a veteran, but she's got two sons that are Marines. And she runs a podcast called Conversations with a Vet. Matt, she'll actually be on the tip of the spear with us coming up on the 28th. I think she's going to join our team there at Tip of the Spear, coming on as one of the guest hosts there for the Tip of the Spear. I think we got Tab Bartley from the Oath We Took podcast, Marine Corps veteran. She's going to jump on our team. And then we got Dr. Teresa Larson. She's going to come on as the special guest for that episode. So I'm super excited about that because, she's got Vicious and Delicious.
That's what I was going to ask. Is she bringing her friends with her?
Yep. She's bringing her friends with her. We're going to have to get her talking about that. And we still need to get her shirt lined out. When you and Becky get some slow time, which, with your shirt company that you got, which I'm actually wearing right now, same flag, same oath.com. Matt's wearing one up there. So definitely go check out sameflagsameoath.com and get your shirt, man. If Cora Lee, with you being a veteran podcaster, Matt could probably work out some fundraising thing ideas with you with coming up with a shirt like he's doing with my HomeFront Sitrep. We hopefully soon we'll be able to go live with that. Soon with that shirt.
Everybody be on the lookout. If you see Willis go live and say this is it, then you're going to see the amazing shirt that we made for him.
Yes.
I had something really important to say.
Go ahead.
What's that?
About the weather. We were talking about how nice it was up here.
Yeah.
And for us, listen, I almost got the tanning lotion and the Speedos out today. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Nice.
You know what? That would probably blind some people. You might go to jail if you do that.
Oh, I was going to come lay out in your front yard.
Hey, I got kids, man, in my neighborhood. They be scared, scoring for life, bro. Oh, yeah, I was listening.
You don't do that anymore? People don't lay out in the front yard no more?
Well, not in Speedos.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. Courtney says, I am loving this weather.
The phone or I'm whooping your ass.
Uh-oh.
Answer the phone or I'm whooping your ass. I'm serious. If you don't answer this down.
Yeah, Courtney, this weather is amazing. And Corley, when are you starting? What are you talking about? When is he starting with the suntan and Speedos? Or when are we starting with the tip of the spear? But no, man. So you just recently was at the Houston rodeo, man. Tell me about your experience there, brother.
Yeah. So I was at the rodeo, but I was at the kickoff for the rodeo. So for anybody that's ever been to Houston, Texas, you know that the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is our version of Mardi Gras, basically. Even though we do Mardi Gras in Galveston, the rodeo is where it's at. So the kickoff to the Houston rodeo every year is the World Championship Barbecue. So I think this year they had 930 tents, 400 and something teams.
Holy cow.
It's a week-long party. Cooks out there making delicious barbecue, competing. There's a lot of veteran teams out there. I'm on the hospitality committee, so we make sure that everybody that's out there to work the event and the cookers and everybody gets where they need to go. But it was 4 days of crazy, and then it goes tomorrow. I believe is the opening for the rodeo, and that's where the whole month of rodeo starts for Houston, and concerts and the rodeo's kicked off, and they'll do a lot of different things there. But
there's some big name concerts coming up for this rodeo, ain't it?
Oh yeah, every year they got big names every year. This year they got Jelly Roll, Luke Bryan, Zach Brown Band, Lainey Wilson, 50 Cent's playing.
Nice. Bubba Wesley.
Bubba Wesley is playing in the Hideout, which is like the after party of the concerts.
Nice.
There's tons. You can go to the website and see it. They have big names every year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good time.
So Louisville has the rodeo that comes here, but it's a week long, just a rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they have some free concerts and stuff like that, but it's nothing like Houston, or Texas, because they do everything bigger in Texas. So
well, Houston's the only city that does it like this. The Fort Worth rodeo and the San Antonio rodeo that just got done last weekend isn't as big like that. The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, the biggest draw for that rodeo, for people that don't know, is obviously the Cowboys are there to win some money. It's one of the bigger rodeos to help them get to the national finals in Vegas. But the most important thing that the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo does is they raise money for kids to give scholarships. So
that's awesome.
Throughout that entire rodeo, all of the 4-H kids and the ag kids that are in the Houston, Texas area, or even further, they're raising animals all year. They're bringing them in. They're competing with them. People are going out to bid on them. I think, being in the hospitality committee, we ride through and we drive a whole bunch of people back and forth from the stops in the parking lot over to the event. I met some guys, Cowboys for Heroes. Their whole thing is they go in and they buy livestock. They'll raise them, then they package and slaughter them, and then what they do is they get them over, like here in the Houston area, we have Camp Hope, which is a place where vets go. It's a retreat. They go up there to do team building, things like that. So these guys they package meat to send it over there. So those guys have food from those guys are coming in. Saw a whole bunch of veterans. We can always tell veterans when we're walking around.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really good time. The Armed Forces Committee is always out there. I got to hang out with the 1st Cavalry Division out of Fort Cavazos, the mounted patrol area, the cavalry.
Yeah.
I think we talked to them. Got Your Six is going to do a shirt for the unit. We're going to work with them, do a shirt for them, get it sent over. But it was cool. Got to see the Marine Corps band. There's all kinds of stuff going on at the rodeo. It's just
Julie's a little disappointed that we didn't get to make it this year to the Houston rodeo.
You still got time. It's a whole month.
I know. But yeah, I know. But the first part is what she wanted to go to, and then I think she wanted to go to a couple of the concerts. So we're definitely going to have to make plans to come out next year. Look, there's our boy, that's Royalty. Right. What's up, Scott? How are you, sir?
DJ right there.
That's right. Hey, speaking of DJ, we got a concert coming up November 9th, and I believe Triple Threat Vets might be here for that. We might need an MC for our concert that day. So we might have to chit chat after that.
James is ready, dude. He said, put me in, coach.
Well, no. So James has got something coming up sooner. So James, I'm going to put it up here on the screen. Let's talk about this right here, James, because this is your baby right here.
Ah, baby. So I have an Army buddy who's a supervisor with that company right there, AVTT, and he travels the country. And that company does the Vietnam Wall. So they have 4 or 5 of them. Anyway, he has the largest one. It's the largest one in the United States. It is an 80% replica. So once we set it up, it's 360 feet long. So my buddy and I, we used to be roommates. We were in Somalia together, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, when I started out doing this warrior round stuff, he invited me to go on a couple of runs with him with the wall. And I went up to Rushville, Indiana. Then I went to Parkersburg, West Virginia. And I sent our mayor, my hometown mayor, I sent him a message one day. I said, hey, this is something we might want to take a look at. And he's like, okay, well, let's set up a meeting. So I told him, I said, well, just by chance, my buddy and his wife will be coming through our town, heading back to Texas. So we were in the mayor's office less than 5 minutes. And he's like, yes, yes, yes. I said, sir, we haven't even told you the price. Yes, yes. So needless to say, we are now bringing the largest traveling Vietnam Wall and Cost of Freedom tribute. That little diagram thing that Willis posted up, the list of exhibits. So, of course, it's got all 58,300 plus names that were killed in Vietnam. And then, as you can see, it's also the Cost of Freedom. There's more panels that we set up on the field as well. So altogether, there's over 70,000 names on this field at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're locking down the city park. We're going to have music and food, vendors, and then we're going to have a veteran service organization set up in one spot. And then the big field is going to be kind of roped off. It's got, the wall and the Cost of Freedom tribute in it. And we're going to have so much fun. This is, we don't teach this stuff in schools anymore. And it's so important that this generation and the generations to follow learn this stuff. So folks that have children, this is an excellent, excellent opportunity for you to help teach that child something that they probably won't learn in school. I'm going to be asking the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts to come out there and donate their time to work our check-in stations. So somebody comes in, they say, hey, I'm looking for such and such out of North Carolina. Then the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts will know exactly how to look in the book and find that name. And then there's a number, and they know exactly where to go on that wall. So for those young folks, it's an excellent opportunity for them too, because I've seen it happen. When an individual walks that family or that friend to the wall, we hear so many stories. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking 5 days of these kids, this younger generation getting to hear this. And that wall transforms. You got this big, huge paneled wall during the daytime, and it's all decorated. It looks nice. Got the flags all over it. But once night hits and those lights come on, it's like, did y'all put a new one out here or something? Because it's totally, totally different. It is so, I can't tell you. But anyway, it's amazing. It really is. And we're gonna bring it in on the 24th, the evening of the 24th, and we're gonna have an escort, and we're gonna start up in Mount Washington. So it'll be kind of like an escort / parade through Mount Washington. And then we got 8 or 9 miles between that city and our city. So then we'll have another escort / parade in the city park, and then we'll get it set up, and the wall will be open 24/7 until it leaves on the 30th. So we are really, really excited. I've got old military vehicles going to be there. I'm working with a colonel out of Fort Knox. We're going to try to bring in a Black Hawk or 2. I've got one person donating a POW MIA tower that we're actually going to have out there on the field. And then after the wall leaves, then I'm going to donate that tower to the city because they are in works of building a veterans memorial park. So I'm going to
That's awesome.
donate that. Yeah, I'm going to donate that tower to the city so they can put it out there. But we're going to have a whole lot of fun. Live music on Friday and Saturday, DJ on Sunday. It's going to be a good time. It really is.
And then when everything's said and done, at 11 o'clock at night, and everybody's out there, and just there's some people. You were telling me a story that I think you were in West Virginia, and somebody was there at like 12 o'clock at night.
It was Rushville. It was in Indiana.
Was it Rushville, Indiana?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
they were just sitting on the bench, and they sat there for a couple hours just staring at the wall.
And it was cold. It was 41 degrees that night. And the little lady wrapped a blanket around her and her husband. And they sat out there for a long time. So I finally asked, hey, are they okay? And they're like, yeah. That's their son on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Now sit there for a second and think about this. If you served in Vietnam, you are probably in your early to mid 70s today.
Yeah.
And if you have parents alive, and for them to sit out there in 41-degree weather just to be with you, that's because they've never seen the wall. They've never seen the original wall or anything like that. So it was, if you have any heartstrings, you're going to get them tugged when you're at the wall. I promise you.
For sure.
I guarantee.
So what kind of questions do you get from the kids after they have an experience like that? You're bringing in the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, they come in, they take people around, they're touring the wall with people, they're showing them stuff, and I'm sure they're learning a lot of things that they wouldn't otherwise know, right? And even if it isn't something that's taught in school, it's like that tribal information that you'll never know. You've talked with your grandfather, you've talked with that older person. What kind of questions do you get from them? What kind of I guess you'd say reviews would be a bad word for it, but what's the aftermath of that for those kids when they do it? What do you see most of the time?
Well, as far as a lot of the younger kids, if we have military personnel, which I haven't been to a wall yet that doesn't have military people there, they get to talk to those individuals, and it's almost like they're awestruck, if that makes sense. They're like a lot of the questions that we get when they first get there: where exactly is Vietnam? When did Vietnam take place? How many people actually died? Blah 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 blah. Those kind of questions, and they ask those questions because it's just not taught in schools no more.
Sure.
We want to talk about whether you identify as a gopher or a platypus, but we don't want to talk about stuff that's important.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting what you just said, that the kids will walk up to someone and go, "What is that?" Real? Okay. That doesn't, it's just one of those things when you grow up in the era that we did, you learn about all that stuff because that's part of U.S. history, right?
Yeah.
I know that nowadays sometimes people feel like if they take walls or statues or whatever, they take stuff down, they don't put it in books, it gets forgotten. But, I remember being a kid, and when I grew up, military brat, I lived in Germany, and I remember living there. And I lived there when the Berlin Wall was up, East and West Germany. Go visit. I remember going into East Germany, and the East German guards get on the train, and they're in their whole gear up, and just like you see them on TV, they're walking down and don't have that passport. You're not going to see that person again. But when you get into East Germany after the wall fell and you take tours, you would talk to all these people, and they never, ever, at least when I was there, covered up any of the bullet holes from World War II. They didn't get rid of anything. They pretty much left stuff the way that it was. And you would ask people, why do you do that? And their answer was the greatest ever. They're like, because that reminds us of what can happen if something like that were to happen again. It just reminds us of what took place for that to happen. And it gives something to strive not to be going forward, if that makes sense, right? Knowing what good, bad, or whatever your definition of that would be, those things, reminders of what happened in the past, whether they're good or bad, they're there to help you move forward. And I always thought that was interesting. And then, now here we take a whole bunch of stuff down.
Probably the worst thing I've ever heard at the wall was we had a late age teenager, 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there. And I had a group of about 12 or 14 veterans Vietnam veterans standing at my table. We were just, shooting the shit. And this young man come up and he said, "What weapons did we use in World War III?" And we all just kind of stopped and looked at him. I said, "What?" And he said, "Well, what weapons did we use in World War III?" I said, "Son," I said, "either they're not telling you or you're not paying attention in school. We haven't had 3 world wars. We've only had 2. There's been a lot of conflicts, but we've only had 2 world wars."
Yeah.
And I promise you, without a second's thought, he said, "Well, in my video game," and all of those Vietnam veterans just froze and looked at him. And so I took the lead. I said, "Hold it. I don't care what you do at home, son. This is not a damn game. Turn around, look behind you. There's 70,000 names that cannot push restart."
Yep.
Yeah.
So he apologized and walked away. But that's the worst thing. That tells you either we're not teaching it or our children are just not grasping it.
Yeah, I think the problem is most times just they say a whole bunch of different things. Soft times create hard men create soft times, and then the cycle keeps on going and all that stuff. But the problem is to talk about something like that, people think you always have to find like who was wrong or who was at fault or what happened, right?
Yep.
But what I don't think most people realize, or what I wish most people wake up to, is like, we're not looking at that thing as it happened and it was really bad. What we're really trying to do is we put names on a wall for a reason.
Yeah. To remember.
When you put somebody's name on the wall, and if you walk up to that wall, and if any one person were to go to that event and read 5 names on that wall, that person now lives that much longer.
Yeah.
And I think people realize that's why we do that. It's not,
Absolutely.
we're not celebrating a war. We're trying to remember the people that went over there and gave that kid the right to go in my video game, or you can take this down, or you can do these things. And it's, just a different world. But a lot of people don't realize that. And I wish they would, because that's what we used to tell each other. You say these people's name because that's what keeps them going on forever. That's how you know that they'll be around, right?
Yeah, that's how you remember them. Yeah.
People forget you, stop saying your name.
And my fear is that we know how the Vietnam vets were treated when they come home. The soldiers come home. We know. We've heard it. We've seen it. We know. And then you fast forward my time frame. So 20, 25 years later, they're like, "Oh, we're so glad you're home. Hey, thank you, blah, blah, blah." And that's continued. But history's going to tell us, when's it going to repeat itself?
Sure.
Yeah.
It won't if we get out there and teach these young folks. Politics, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. If that young man or that young woman says, "You know what? I am ready to do my part to defend this country." That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're an R. I don't care if you're a D. I don't care. I care about that individual now, because now that's a brother or that's a sister. And I don't want history coming back years from now and our soldiers coming home and being treated like dirt. I don't want that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you never want to see that ever.
No.
It's funny you say that, James, because I guarantee you there's a whole bunch of people a long time ago that said the same thing.
Yeah.
And nobody ever listened.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
No, it's crazy. So I want to mention Rick Ames, bitches in the audience. What's up, Rick Ames?
There he is.
And then Miss Pam, she says, "Thank you guys for your service." There's no thanks needed.
Thank you.
I'd gladly do it again in a heartbeat. And
Yeah.
and then Courtney is Pam's daughter, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
They do look a lot alike in profile pictures.
Yes, she said. With my kids being homeschooled, it is important for me to take them. I think this is a really good opportunity for them to attend and learn about this. And I would agree with you 100% there, Courtney. You got some amazing kids, because I remember DJing the birthday party for your 16-year-old here recently.
Yeah, the oldest one is Tater, the middle one is Mater, and then the little one is Spud.
Yeah. So amazing girls. I mean, they are amazing. They're very polite, and that little one, Tater, or Spud, she's a Spitfire, man. She had a ton of energy.
Oh.
then my boy Will Rawson right here, Bill Rawson. He's a Marine Corps veteran. He was a firefighter, crash crew, and rescue in the Marine Corps. He works with me at AT&T, and I'm glad he's on here because we just actually started a new podcast. Rick and Bill are hosting it. It's called Distorted Static, and it focuses on musicians from around the country and bands and stuff like that. And they just started. We just recorded our first episode with a band called Nethery, Austin Nethery and his band, and it was a really good episode that'll be coming out soon on our YouTube channel at Distorted Static Show. So thank you for jumping on, Bill.
And Rick said, "What's up?"
And then Rick said, "What's up?" And so we got some cool things working, man. Especially with that podcast, I'm kind of excited to see how that's going to work out. With bringing in musicians from around the country. Everybody knows somebody who plays music somewhere, whether it be back in high school or like Matt's case, Bubba Wesley now, and you're pretty good friends with him. And then I got Juan Chavoya, who's in Hot Action Cop. Make sure I enunciate that. Hot Action.
Need to enunciate the P. Got it.
Yeah. So and I grew up with a bunch of guys that are still playing in bands, and hell, me and Rick were putting this concert on in November 9th, right before Veterans Day, and we put posts out there, and I'm telling you, we're getting inundated with messages. Hey, I want to play your show. I want to play your show. I want to play your show. And it's almost to the point where we need to make it a 2-day event. Huh?
We're about to have tryouts.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we got some good bands lined up for that. We got a Big Steel Train, Big Steel Train's coming out. Then we got a Hard Road. They are so Hard Road is a veteran. They're all veterans in Hard Road. He reached out pretty much right away as soon as we put the post out and said, "Hey, I want to be on that show." And the good thing about all the bands that are participating in this show, they're doing it for free. They're not charging us anything. They're doing it for free. Which is amazing because all the proceeds from this concert, I'm going to throw the slide up while I'm talking about it. Let's see. Here we go. So it's our third annual Veteran and First Responder Suicide Awareness Concert. And it's a $10 entry fee, and every bit of the money that we raise from this event will go to Camp Hero, Kentucky. I got if you go on there, the Camp Hero, campheroky.org, and you can check out Rocco, what he's doing there with Camp Hero. So Rocco's a Navy veteran. Then he was a police officer as well, medically retired from both. So yeah, it was pretty cool, man. I'm excited about it. We got some great bands lined up, and like I said, we got people reaching out from Illinois. Melon Cougar, which is a John Cougar Mellencamp tribute band, reached out to us. They want to come play, but they also
I got a quick question about that one because we talked about that band earlier, and I got to know, is that like an all lady band?
No, it's all guys. It's all dudes.
Okay, I was just asking.
What's going on, Rat Man? So yeah, but they wanted $3,500 to come play, and I'm like, bro, this is people that are doing it for free. Now, if you can find local gigs around here to supplement your income, then yeah, that's fine. We can bring you on the show, but we don't have $3,500 just to dish out to you.
You sure? I thought you were rich, bro.
I wish.
You have a mom at your house, for crying out loud.
Right. I mean, I do got a sugar mama. She's my sugar mama, but
she's cursing right now.
She probably is if she's watching. I don't know. She might not. I think she took Grace up to practice for archery.
I was going to say, does JM know about your sugar mama?
Well, she is my sugar mama.
Oh. Okay.
And then
you talk about price for doing a veteran show. I had someone ask me today because my phone has just lit up getting folks to come down to play at the wall. And they're like, well, how much does it pay?
Yeah. And that's the thing. You got to tell them this is for free. You got to donate your time.
Yeah.
This is, and that's, and all, like I said, all the money that we're going to raise from this will be going back to Camp Hero, Kentucky. Me, Rick, and the other guys that are involved. We we don't take a dime. We're doing this because we're wanting to raise money for different veteran service organizations from around the country. We're getting the amphitheater here in Mount Washington, it's the West Banco Amphitheater. They're not charging us for that. And we got food vendors coming in, veteran owned food vendors. We'll have veteran owned small businesses that have trinkets and stuff like that. They're going to come in and set up shop, and we're going to bring in some VSOs and have them set up so they can talk to veterans as veterans walk up to them and talk to them. This will probably be, we're looking anywhere between 1,500 to 5,000 people at this concert. And I'm stupid excited about it because, for one, Rick Ames, who is a Marine Corps Navy / Marine Corps veteran, reached out to Guinness Book of World Records, and he also reached out to all these other veteran podcasters from around the country, and we're going to bring all of them in together. I don't know how many right now he's got. I think maybe 6 or 7 different veteran podcasters. And we're going to set up and do lives from there. And the more we get, the more we can set a world record for having veteran podcasters at this broadcasting a live event. Right now, the record is, I think one right now is the record. So all we need is 2 really to break the record. But we got to set the bar high. We got to set the bar high,
Yeah, we got to go for 3 for sure.
Yeah, 3, definitely 3. So we're going to have, Distorted Static will be set up, which is Bill and Rick, and mostly Bill, because he'll be, Rick is going to be, running around with his head cut off with all the different bands and stuff. And Rick's band's going to be playing. So you'll get to see old Rick Ames up there on stage in his pleather pants.
Shredding.
Yeah, he'd be shredding that bass.
I'm just curious, when he's on stage, if 2 fat guys are going to run up there and show him their boobies.
Well,
if you're there, is it shredding the bass or slapping the bass? I don't know which one.
I think it's slapping the bass.
Man, it's probably
last show that Willis and I was at with Rick up there shredding on that bass. He got some boobies flashed at him.
Maybe there might be some chicas that come up there and flash some boobies at him. Who knows?
If you can't have fun, don't do it.
No, not at all.
Definitely. Now it will be a kid friendly event, so there will be kids there.
Oh, so I'll put pasties on.
Yeah. Or put
yeah, right.
Yeah. James is gonna come out with tassels.
Appropriately.
Yeah, he's gonna have tassels.
Yeah, I'll learn how to swing them. Just let them spin.
Just ask Pam; she can help you probably.
Oh, so do you? Well, I got a question for you in your comments over here. What is Glenn McIntosh said he's about to start Guard Shack? What is that? Do you know what that is? Or does?
Yes, he's the gentleman that's doing the tower for the wall.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's my buddy.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, he is. They're doing that. They're building the tower. They sure
nice.
Hey, Bill, for a
$100 donation, he will tweak on stage.
Yeah, I will twerk on stage.
I got a bottle of bourbon over here. It costs $40. I can get him on stage. I'm here to tell you, I'll get him up there.
There you go.
$100. God. Bill Rawson. I don't know what I'm gonna do with you.
Willis, I know that you're supposed to have a guest today, so I know that you prepared to talk to someone. You did all your homework. You're really good at that. I need to probably get back to that. I should probably take some lessons. So let's talk about you, sir. So you've been doing this for a while. I know you're coming up on a year very soon.
Yep, coming up on a year soon.
When is it?
February 28th. Actually, the day we do Tip of the Spear.
Coming up on a year. So
it'll be 1 year.
Let's ask you. We're going to put you in the seat today on your own podcast, which is going to be fun.
All right. Let's
tell me, what do you feel like the journey's been from day 1 to today? Tell me what you've noticed, what you've seen. Obviously it's a wild ride. It's fun because you're still doing it, unless you true Marine Corps fashion do shit you hate just because you hate it. But like, what's it been like? What's the first year been like for you?
Man, it has been a wild ride. So when we first started, I had a co-host that was a permanent co-host, and unfortunately, personal differences kind of took that away. And then We started out doing audio only, one a week on Sunday. So we would record on Sunday, release on Tuesday at noon. I don't know why we picked Tuesday. It was just a random day, random time. And
Figured everybody was still hungover on Monday.
yeah. And, we started out doing audio only, and it was good. It was okay. I loved it because, for one, it's helping me deal with, my inner demons and stuff. And unfortunately, my co-host, she was like, "Well, I'm doing too much. I'm doing too much. I'm doing too much." And then other factors, played into that as well. And then so we started doing video podcast, and that's where I saw like an uptick in people that were coming on and getting involved. And I've had some great guests over the year that I've been doing this, and meeting people from California, meeting people from Minnesota, Florida, Texas, and West Virginia and Virginia, and reaching that audience out there. And I always say, during my podcast, if I help one veteran today, that veteran's going to turn around and help two veterans tomorrow. And that's what I always look for when I do this, and meeting those, meeting these veteran service organizations like the Hope Project in Florida, or Wayward Warrior Ranch in Virginia, or Project Zero in Texas, which I got coming up here shortly, and meeting Lonnie and Melissa from California. That they're veteran. Lonnie's a Navy veteran. They own Cover Sunscreen, which is somewhere here, right here on the little table. I got a little bottle of Cover Sunscreen, and hearing their stories, and it helps me, when I do my research, like you mentioned, because I'm always looking at studying, who's coming on, who could be my next interview. And I always say idle minds and veterans don't mix. So my brain, even when I'm sleeping, my brain is going on who's going to be my next. My wife will tell you I can talk in my sleep. What, James?
I do.
When you first started, your beard was all black.
I wish. I wish it was all black.
That's back when he had time to use Just for Men. Now, like, he's just like, screw it, I'm not going to do it no more,
So
real quick,
sorry, go ahead.
Ratman, thank you for everything that you do for veterans. So if you don't know about Ratman, they're Glenn McIntosh. He's got two cars, Pro
Vega?
1, Pro 1 and Pro 2, right?
One's a Vega, one's a Monza, and they're both pushing 700 plus horsepower.
So Ratman made this for me when I met Ratman. Come on, headphones. It's an award. Let's see. Yeah, it's a veterans award. And then, he wrote on the back of it. So I want to give a shout out to Ratman and everything he does for veterans. He's not a veteran, but in his cars, veterans that he meet at these car shows and stuff that he goes to, veterans can write in the car and stuff, and he takes pictures of the veterans writing in it and everything. Ratman does amazing things. So thank you, Ratman, for coming on, and I can't wait to see this tower you're making, brother.
Yeah, that's my dog. He's a hell of a guy. I'm telling you, that's one of the most influential, better men that I have met since I started doing my little warrior rounds journey. It really is. He's awesome. If I need something, he's like, just let me know.
Yeah.
And he'll straight up tell you, if I can't do it, I know 5,000 people. Somebody can do it.
Yeah.
And he does. He just knows freaking everybody. Hey, Ratman, I need this. Okay, give me a day or two. Call you back. Hey, I got it.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, getting back to the podcast journey, man, the tribe that I'm building with this podcast community that I have, with like you guys at Triple Threat, Richmond LaMonica at Misfit Nation, Cora Lee at Conversations with a Vet, and Tab Bartley, and this tribe that we're building. The one thing about all of us is that we're very like-minded, where we want to collab and work with other veterans, and to support our mission in helping veterans with whatever ailments that they may have, whether it be they got night terrors, or their PTS is so strong, or whatever not. And then like Roll Call Foundation, one of my good buddies, Don from the Roll Call, so one of their guys is in Texas, and they have horses in Texas.
Yep.
And then they have their horses here in Kentucky as well. And just to see what people are doing and how they're doing it. And for me, what is satisfying for me is making that connection with other people. So like Veterans Villages out of Pennsylvania, we had them on. And then Lady Veterans Connect here in Kentucky, up in Winchester, they have a school that they converted. Well, they're also wanting to expand on that. Now, right now, Lady Vets Connect is set up for just female veterans only. It can't be female veterans with children, so they have to, turn those away. So what they're wanting to do is expand on what they have. And so I connected Dana with Phyllis, and now they're working together, and they're going to build something on that property. They got 8 acres up there, so they can bring in female veterans with their families, so they don't turn them away. So I think that's super cool, and just making that connection. That's what I'm all about. Like when I have a good guest, I reach out to Matt or Ty or Al or Rich and say, hey, I got this person I think it would be great for your show. Like I had Nick Ron on last night with Warriors Next Adventure, and what he does, dude, it's simply amazing. What this dude, like, his mind never stops what he does. He's an Air Force veteran. He has helped 26 veterans start a nonprofit. He's also helps veterans with getting the LLC for their business. He does a race car program. He does God, he does everything. He's writing a book. I mean, this dude, his mind does not stop. And
you just hurt my feelings.
Why?
Because you said when you have good guests on, you let them know.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. I didn't say nothing.
Because see, it's my fault. Because usually when I tell my story and I go into my spiel, somebody cries. Okay.
Yeah.
So I understand. We don't want a bunch of slobbering people out there. I get it.
No,
that's so
cool. So here's the thing.
I regress.
No, So here's the thing, brother. I have told Matt, and I've told Ty, and I've told Al all about you. I've sent them your phone number, and they said, "Oh, we'll reach out to him." And I've told Rich the same thing. Matter of fact, I'll bring up the text message with Rich. I just talked to him.
As for Carol Lee, I did get hooked up with her.
I hooked you up with Cora Lee there.
Yep.
I already told you, 11 April. What are you telling me?
So you're now on the books for Triple Threat, and you're going to have a great time because Julie's going to be in the comments just chit-chatting, because she always is. She's normally the first person in there waiting before it comes on.
Well, did you tell Matt to bring a box of tissues with him when he comes in?
No. I don't think I'll need them, but a lot of people probably will.
Yeah, your story. If you don't know James's story, oh my God, it's just. I don't even think he tells half of it.
I don't have the time for it.
Yeah, well, depends on with Triple Threat. You might have the time.
With conversations with a vet, I told quite a bit. She really didn't have me on a time crunch, but
yeah,
I kind of
I told either.
Yeah, so like I told her, when I go out and I talk to these organizations and these groups, I've kind of got myself down to about 45 minutes. One, you don't want to make it too short, and people are like, "I was here for that," or you don't want to make it too long where you start to lose people.
Yeah,
So 45 minutes up to about an hour. You know what I mean? And you can really keep people focused and paying attention. So I try to compound as much of it as I possibly can into that time frame, because I don't want to upset people with it being too short, and I definitely don't want to bore them with it being too long. So
yeah,
that's important to me.
Yeah,
I think that for us, what we do, if it's good, we don't stop. Sometimes they're like, we might want to. I mean, we can keep going, right? But we're not really on a time crunch. We just like for people to come in, tell their story, tell us about what they do, where they've been, what they've done, and have a good time. Much like you do, Willis. I mean, same thing. So
Yeah, for sure. My dogs are going crazy, I guess.
Well,
The
it's
wife and
because
kids
of
just got home.
Glenn. We call him Rat Man. Because of him and Willis, my name has gotten out there, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I can directly come right back to those two guys and say that's the reason. They believed enough in me when I got this going. I just took a black trailer that I had decorated, look all pretty, down to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, told the founder of Warrior Rounds, hey, I'm here to get all your shit. I took all of his hats and CDs, his t-shirts, and all that shit, hauled ass. And then I'm sitting at home going, where do I go?
Yeah, you're like, what do I do?
I got all this stuff out here, and what am I supposed to do with it?
Yeah,
So,
that was a good idea.
and that's where Glenn come in at first, and then of course I met Dave. Dave, and then we just, it's a lot. I'm a lot busier than I thought I would be when this got going.
Well, you tend to get a lot busier with things. I know Willis can attest to this. When you start, you're going to go, we're just going to go talk and have fun. That's all we're going to do, right? And that's the whole point. If it's truly therapy for you, money's not important. You just want to tell stories. And so our whole thing is bring people on, let them tell a story, have them tell us a lot about themselves, what they're doing, what they're going to do going forward, give somebody something. That helping one person at a time is what we do. And then you notice after that, it's like one after another, after another, another. After another.
Yeah.
Our challenge at Triple Threat is there's 4 of us. So now just imagine, Willis is already busy, right? With all the people reaching out to 1. Now imagine out to 4. And before you know it, you keep looking at this. That's why today, James, what do we do? I got on today and I was like, hold on. I get on the phone and look, this day and that day's open. Which one?
Yeah.
Because for us, they fill out so fast. It's sometimes hard to keep up with it, right? And then Ty's in here right now. The only reason we keep straight with that shit is because Ty has it written down.
Yeah, Ty's got that shit.
I showed you the text. Ty sends us, okay, here's the updated guest list. Just so you guys know. And before you forget, you'll go to schedule somebody and somebody's out. But no.
Well, hey, Ty, so Matt just scheduled James for April 11th. You might want to write that down, brother.
Oh, I did. I wrote it down on this piece of paper that I'm using for school that I'm going to shred later, but I promise I'll send an email before I do that.
What I found out, because when I first started with Glenn, is that I just had this trailer with some merchandise, and I'd go around to these different events. And my goal was to promote Warrior Rounds. Hey, this is Warrior Rounds. This is what they do. Check this shit out. This is awesome. And then it got turned in from me telling about Warrior Rounds to me telling about Warrior Rounds and then my story. And then everybody was like, whoa, what? And it was my story was kicking. So when I go out now, I'm still promoting Warrior Rounds, because if it wasn't for that organization and what they done for me, that light switch would have probably never went off.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the opportunity,
Yeah, absolutely. So because that light switch flicked, I'm blessed to be able to do what I'm doing now. I can't do it a lot physically, but I do it as much as I physically can.
For sure.
So tell everybody what your little saying is.
We all do different.
When you're dealing with veteran service organizations.
Oh, I don't. Here's my concept on veteran service organizations. Every one of us say we're out there to help that one. We're out there to help that one. Well, what if 50 of us all get together? Now we're all in the same goal. I may not be able to help this particular veteran right now, but daggone it, I got 49 other folks right here on speed dial. I know somebody that can. I don't want to put this veteran off for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 days. Hold up. I got somebody right here. Boom. There's the phone. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But not a single.
That's a lot of what you do right now with what Willis is doing and with HomeFront Sitrep, and then, bringing us into it. And then I know that we talk to you all the time on like the Veteran Roundtable. James is like reaching out to all the other podcasters across the nation. I know that there was a time where people reach out to us. They were up in by Rich LaMonica and a great text. Hey, this person has this question. And not even 30 seconds later, call this person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So you're building that network of people. We're doing our own chamber of commerce networking, podcasting style, but all over the country. And so what that does now is it allows people to have an even larger Rolodeck, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of what I know is in Houston. I can help you anywhere there. I got you.
Yeah.
If I ever hear about Kentucky, I reach right out to Willis and say, hey, what do you have there? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And I'm all for all of the organizations working together.
Yeah.
But this is what Willis wanted me to say.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single organization out there says anything about greed in their mission statement. So therefore, if I hear or see greed, I take all my toys and I go home.
Oh, there you go.
It's just that simple. It's that simple.
I'm like it too.
We need money to do this. Yeah, no shit. We all need money to do that. But if you do the right thing for the right reason, the money will come.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to get out here and beg for it. You don't have to be on TV channels. You don't have to do none of that stuff. That's greed.
Yeah.
When I go out to a show, this is my thought process. Tonight, when I go home, dead freaking tired, completely wiped out, the 22 a day just dropped to 21.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can sleep tonight.
Yeah.
I can sleep peacefully tonight.
Yeah.
I'll sleep all night with a big smile on my face. Because the 22 just went to 21 because of me running my mouth for an hour.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And every show I go to, that's what I hit on. One, there could be 15 people in the audience. There could be 15,000. I don't care. I'm after one.
There could just one person in the audience.
I just want one.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I found out about an organization last night when I was talking with Nick Ron. It's down in Florida. It's called X22 Adventures. And Nick is, so the guy who founded the X22 was one of Nick's friends that was on the verge of committing suicide when, Nick, met this guy and started talking to him and stuff. And he asked him what his purpose was in life and what he liked doing and stuff like that. Well, the guy, he didn't really have a purpose in life, but he loved fishing and stuff. And Nick said, you need to start a nonprofit for fishing. And the guy says, no, I ain't got time for that. And of course, this guy's 100% disabled, from 100% disabled. And he goes, no, I ain't got time for that. A week later, he's calling him back. He goes, hey, X22 Adventures, let's go. Let's get it going. And he's now doing, taking vets fishing with him. Of course, that's what he does all the time is go fishing. So now he's taking vets going fishing. He's raised, since he started, he's only raised $15,000 since he started taking vets fishing. And Nick asked him, he goes, well, how are you getting money? He goes, dude, I got so much money laying around. I don't need to raise money. And he says, I go fishing. I take vets with me, and that's all I do. He said, I don't really need any money for that. And but he's starting a fundraiser. So he's doing it for the right reason. He's wanting to take a vet fishing with him. And just so they can talk and work things out, and it's just like, man, that's amazing.
That's one of those things is like, I'm going already anyway.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to come hang out? Like, I got a sword and a bag of Doritos. Let's go do karate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the whole point. One veteran at a time. That's all it takes. You might not do it overnight, but one veteran at a time. That's all it takes. And that's what we need to focus on. If I can reach 100 veterans, great. But like James says, I'm looking for that one veteran right now. That's what I'm looking for.
It's crazy though. I'll tell you that a lot of times we all say that, right? You want to just help that one person, and that one person is what matters. I'll tell you that we've had times, like I wasn't on the podcast last week for Triple Threat because I was at the rodeo, but I listened to the podcast after, and the craziest thing, I got more out of listening to it than I would have if I would have been on it. It's so crazy. But there's people on there that when they're asking questions and we give them answers, you are helping people. But the best part about that, James, you just brought it up, right? If you see that thing called greed, you're going away. People start asking for money, then it's more than just helping. Yep. Just do what we do naturally. People are asking questions and you help them all the time. And I think that you're always looking for that one, but I could tell you now that there's probably 3, 4, or 5. in a hitch that you're helping, and you just will never know.
And that's good.
And that's
I'm
okay.
okay with that. That's right.
And it's just crazy to see how it rolls out. You know, I mean, there's so many people that they want to ask for help, they don't know how to do it. Like we had our guy Berto on last week.
Mm-hmm.
You threw together a complete clinic for like 40 minutes going through stuff.
Yeah.
And people are on the chat going, yeah, but fuck my boss, and what do I do about it? He's like, well, what do you mean? What do you do about it? Like you have, and I was sitting there like listening to him answer the questions people were bringing in, because it's not often we get him on and we talk about him enough where people know that he's like legit. He's not one of those guys that stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
Yeah.
And, like people just start asking the questions. And I mean, it was pretty good for, just to listen to it and see how it's come across. And that's why I asked you earlier, Dave, you know, like what's the journey been for a year, right? I know what it's been like for us, but like, you know, just asking from a perspective of starting to getting to a point where you're at, you know, it grows. And then you had your own challenges, right? You started as, you know, a tandem, then it goes into a single kind of show, but then you still bring in a whole bunch of people to help you on the hosting side of it. And it comes into what it is right now. Right.
Yeah.
So it's unique to watch. I'm excited.
Yeah. It's definitely had its challenges. You know, and not to say that I can't do the episodes by myself. But sometimes it's better to bounce off of people like with you guys. You know, there's 4 of you guys at Triple Threat, and you all gel so well and bounce off of each other. And like me and James, we bounce off of each other. Like me and you, we bounce off of each other. When Ty's on or Al's on, we bounce off of each other. And I think it makes
he's on the bottom.
Huh?
I said, but he's on the bottom.
Yeah, he's on the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got that skunk on his face, but but no, dude, I tell you, I love it so much when, you know, when I have guests on and they're very talkative, like when they can carry on a conversation and I can just sit back and just enjoy what they're talking about. Like last night we went a little over 2 hours last night with Nick Ron, and we probably could have kept going because the conversation was so easy. And then, you know, you got some guests that come on, you ask them a question and it's pointed, you know, it's just like, they answer and that's it. They don't elaborate. They don't expand on it. And it's just like, bro, you need to expand a little bit more. Then that's where I come in, or you would come in and say, well, what about this to get them to expand on it? And it's just like, sometimes you need that extra set of eyes or that extra voice in the chat. And, my wife is in comments down there. Sometimes you need that extra voice.
You can't brush over that. Oh, by the way, hello, Julie. I saw you say hi to me. I'm saying hello right now. How you doing today?
So Julie and I normally when we watch Triple Threat, we have it on the big screen in the living room. And last week's Triple Threat, man, it was so deep. I mean, it was God.
But you like how Al kept making jokes so that it wasn't super, super serious? Because Al was Al was like, fuck, he's talking to me about all of this. I got to make a joke so that I don't have to keep talking about it.
Yeah. And then, you know, the people in chat, you know, you got your regulars in chat and Morgan and Kevin, they are amazing. You know, they were like,
Julie's always in there.
Julie's always in there. I'm always in there. And
Becky's in there. You'll have
Renee
in there. Yep. We've seen you in there before, James.
Rick Ames jumps on. Julie says David does really well by himself. He doesn't give himself enough credit that people tune in to see him because of his passion.
Oh, you should
Thank
marry
you, honey.
her.
Thank you.
You should marry her.
I know. I have twice, and I'll do it again.
See, that's unique that you and Al have both been married to the same person twice.
So we got married. Let's see. We got married in 2005. And then on our 5th wedding anniversary, we renewed our vows, basically.
Okay.
So we got married in the old Catholic church. So it was prior Vatican II, I believe. So technically it was Catholic, but not Catholic.
Okay.
Julie was raised Catholic, and I had to go through. I had to go through RCIA and become Catholic.
Me too.
So we could get married in was it our 6th anniversary? So we could get married in the Catholic Church. I was close. It was supposed to be 5th, but I wasn't done with RCIA yet, so we waited to the next year.
Dude, I had to do all that before I got married, bro.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So we got
yeah.
So we actually renewed our wedding vows and stuff, and like I said, I would marry her again in a heartbeat,
so
just because.
Let's preface this real quick. You, Al, not the same. Al actually, him and his wife, like, were out and then got back together again. So it was kind of over and then happened again. Like, he literally married, like, for the first time, the second time, the same person twice.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, if me and Julie
That's
ever
his
get
first
divorced,
and second wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If I ever get divorced again, it's over. I'm gonna be a bachelor for the rest of my life.
I tell people all the time, I still miss all of my exes, but my aim is improving.
Oh yeah, my first wife, man.
So one and done here, big dog. One and done. That shit's too expensive to get out of.
Yeah. No. It will be married. 19 years married. Yeah, so 19 years married in November.
Look at that, dude.
See, you done got yourself in trouble.
No,
congratulations.
No, we've been together for 20 plus years.
Oh, okay.
But we've been married
20
for
plus. That's 20 years in one day. But it just 20 plus.
But no, I love my wife, and I got a great, she supports me at everything that I do, and I support her everything she does.
We all love Julie.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
And not meet Julie and not love her. I'm here to tell you right now.
She said, "Ask you about the stripper."
I was trying to get into that, but so my first wife.
Okay.
When I got married in the Marine Corps, I was young, dumb, and full of fucking cum. So I met her. She through some mutual friends. She was working at Kroger, so she was a cashier at Kroger down in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Okay.
We started dating. We dated. I say we dated for a year and a half. But if you know anything about Marine Corps infantry, you're always in the field. Like you really are never home.
So it was really like 2 weeks.
So about maybe 6 months out of that year and a half, 6 months we were together, really.
Okay.
And so we got married October of 99. I brought her home for Thanksgiving that year, Thanksgiving of 99. We went back to North Carolina, and she said, I'm never coming back to Kentucky. Right there, I should have knew. Now, I will preference this. She was a black lady from Chicago, Illinois originally. Her dad was in the Army at Fort Bragg. And when he got done with Fort Bragg, they just moved to Jacksonville, and they lived in Jacksonville. So I go on a deployment to Bridgeport, California, December of 99. Came back December 31st, a day early. I was supposed to come back January 1st. Came back a day early, got back on base, got in my car, drove out, stopped and got a dozen of roses and her bottle of favorite Hennessy. And I drove to the house. And as I pulled down the street, I got that gut feeling. I was like, oh man, something's not right. Just automatically got like that gut feeling. Pulled up, open up the door to the house, hear music playing from the back, walk down the hallway. Sure enough, she's sitting on top of some dude riding him. I just dropped everything I had, turned around, went up to my buddy's house, and got drunk that night.
I've not heard the whole story.
She hasn't, bro. I don't really talk about it very much. But
listen, I got one question though. Stage name.
I couldn't tell you.
Stop it.
No, I couldn't tell you.
Come on.
I swear to God, I couldn't tell you.
What was her name in real life?
Her real name was Tanita.
That was her stage name, bro. Tanita.
Maybe. But so literally, I turned around and walked up, got back in the car, went up to my buddy's house. So he lived at the end of the street, like on the main drag. And then I lived down the street, like literally from my front porch, you could see his back door. So I pulled in there, knocked on his door, his wife Belinda, who I went to high school with, said, David, I got to tell you something. I said, no, I just caught her cheating on me. I said, and she goes, yeah, she's been cheating on you the whole time. And I was like, well, thanks for telling me now when you should have told me freaking 3
I
months
wouldn't
ago.
have just embarrassed myself down the street 5 minutes ago.
Right, right. So
I just thought of it. I know her stage name.
What?
Anita Tanita.
There it is.
Maybe. So I get drunk that night, me and Jason, and we get drunk, and I go back to base the next day, and I go into First Sergeant's office and say, hey, First Sergeant, this is what's going on. I need a room on base. I need a room in the barracks. He said, okay, so I got my barracks, and he says, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have to go through the process of getting a divorce. You're going to have to give her your BAQ and your BAH, which is your housing and your food allowance, to support her. I was like, the fuck I am? I ain't giving that bitch shit. He goes, well, I didn't hear that. So I was on base, still married at the time, kept the whole paycheck and everything. And then we were doing something, and some of my junior Marines come up to me and said, hey, Corporal Willis, do you know your wife is stripping? I was like, no, I didn't know, because I'm not with her anymore, you know.
Is
They're
she
like, oh
good?
yeah, she's at this new club, huh?
Is she good?
I don't know. But so she's at this new club. It's a buy me or you got to bring your own booze. Like they don't even have a liquor license yet. This is the club that she's working
Oh,
at.
it's a BYOB, huh?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
BYOB club, and I was like, bro,
Sounds like Korea.
I was like, yeah, I was like, but anyway, I haven't seen her since, and I don't ever plan to. Probably because I'd probably hang her from a fucking tree if I ever did.
Yeah, so your Marines were loading up on Zimas and $1 bills.
Zimas and $1.
Yes,
There you go.
Yes.
You gotta get between payday somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So now, come to find out, before I met her, she had worked at a strip club.
Julie said, I heard bring your own boobs.
But supposedly she was a stripper before I met her, and then she went back to stripping. So I guess I turned her back into a stripper. So my kids and my wife will randomly go through the house. I'm in love with a stripper.
Nice.
Like, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
That is so great.
That is awesome.
That is great. That's good news. Good news.
I need to record each one of your children and your wife saying that individually. And then every time you call me, that's going to be your ringtone. 3 days will say, I'm in love with a stripper back to back.
Nice. She's texting me. She's like, you can't say that on the air. And I know I can't say that on air. I probably would never do nothing to her. So Pam says, the same thing happened to my son. He was in the Air Force. His wife had 2 dudes back to back before me and Courtney got there to their apartment to whoop her ass. And she hauled ass before we got there.
Yeah. So the lookout was good that night. They're like,
yeah,
you should probably go. Some shit's coming.
Yeah, some shit's coming. You got to go. But no, man, I tell you, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, God puts things in your lives to, early on. I'm glad that I went through that trial and tribulations early on, and don't have to deal with it later on in life. Like you know, like I said, I got a great wife. She's amazing, and I wouldn't want to do my life without her. Let's put it that way.
So she's not a stripper?
No, Julie's not a stripper. What's up, Michael? But yeah, no, man, I tell you what, you know, this podcast journey, you know, the people that I've, you know, talked to over, you know, this course of the year, you know, with like you guys at Triple Threat and Rich and Dexter Pitts and Adam Bird, and the whole journey has been amazing. Just to build the community that we have been building, and it just keeps getting better. I mean, because we're all very like-minded. When we talk about what we're doing, yes, I changed the topic, Julie.
Yeah.
I just love the community that we're building, the brotherhood, the sisterhood that we're building, and you know, be able to share stories with each other of guests that we've had, or upcoming guests that we've had, or like your experience. You know, you had Bubba Wesley on, and then you get to go see him in concert, and hang out with him while he's doing the show and stuff. I mean, that's stupid.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
He's a cool guy. I tell you what, though, at least I didn't ask you. House is on fire. You can only get one person out. Who you're bringing?
Yeah, right.
You know, old Blake did to me. Still getting over that one, bro.
Oh, I bet.
One of our kids, for real.
Yeah, one of our kids. Yeah,
That wasn't a good
a,
answer.
a house on fire. You know, I heard a good joke about a house on fire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a joke, so don't take it personal.
Okay.
But if two gay guys are having sex and the house is on fire, who's the first one to get out?
I already know the answer. You're in the Navy. You should get this one.
I wasn't on submarines, bruh, so I'm probably out of that one. You know what I mean?
I'll help you
You
out.
still had your day in the barrel, though.
I'll help you out.
Barrel? What are you talking about?
It was the one on the bottom. His shit's already packed.
There you go. Nice. Hey, but Willis, listen, you have more sea time than I do, buddy.
You're right. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately,
I wonder who would have got that one first. Me?
Well,
I don't
my
have
dad.
any sea time.
So
I have
dad
no sea time. None. Zero. I have no sea time.
So do
None.
I. I mean, I did sea duty in the Navy, but we flew to every deployment. I've never been on a boat. Don't know what deployment's like. If I want to go on deployment, y'all, I'm going to have to go on a cruise with like Royal Caribbean or something. That's going to be a good deployment because it's all inclusive. I don't got to do shit. You know.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing I can complain about our deployments, of course, we were stationed in Fort Drum, New York, Snowtown, USA.
Yeah.
I mean, cold, 13 months out of a year, it was cold. We never deployed to a cold climate. Panama, Cuba, Florida, Africa, we never deployed to a cold climate.
That's
so
funny.
We've done, when I was in the Marines, man, we deployed everywhere. My first deployment was to Port-au-Prince, Haiti in 98 to Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Yeah, the Haitian crisis.
Yeah. So that was, that fucked me up big time. Just seeing the shit that I saw there, that, coming from Kentucky, going down there and seeing, bodies in the street with burning tires on them, and they're still screaming as the tire's burning, and you can't do nothing. You can't put it out. You can't do anything. You're just told to sit there and watch.
I think it was 92 when they first threw Aristide out of power.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were trying to get over here on them little boats, and the Coast Guard was intercepting them.
Yeah.
Taking them off their boats, sinking their boats, and they took them to Guantanamo Bay. Well, our unit got sent to Cuba for guard duty of all the Haitians, and that was back in 92.
Yeah. That was right when the government first fell in 92. And then
that's when they threw Aristide out, and then the United States put him back in, and they got him again.
And then they got him again. Yeah. So when we were there, when we were in Haiti, we were the last Marine Corps unit to go there, and then the 82nd Airborne took over for us, and then the 82nd Airborne gave the country back to the Haitian president, and then we were back in there like 6 months to a year later. They already overthrew him again, but yeah, when we were there, it was. I'm telling you, this is one of the worst places that I ever went when I was in the Marine Corps, was to Haiti. And to see burning bodies, tires around their neck burning and still screaming. Saw people getting drugged behind a vehicle with comm wire, and see people come up to the gate that you were guarding, their hands chopped off and blood just spurting out, and they're wanting your help, and you can't help them. You were told you can't do nothing. So you had to turn them away. And dude, I'm telling you that.
So it's like, what the fuck did you send us over there for then? If we're just watch. I can go watch a horror movie like on the weekend with the family if I want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, we were sitting at the front gate, and there were a group of women and children, and there were some men in the back, and they were shooting AK-47s over our guard tower. And, here we are 18, 19 years old, and they're like, oh, you can't shoot back unless their bullets hit your tower or hit you.
They have to hit you first.
Yeah.
Like, so we have to hope they're bad aim.
Yeah, it's just like, and then you know they're using a wall of women and children in front of them just in case we did fire back.
It's Frogger with bullets. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, dude,
Well,
it was so.
something similar to that, and I don't know. I wasn't in Africa in 1993. This is just something that I heard. But a particular unit was coming down the MSR, and there was a goat camel auction going on, and somebody inside the camel auction started shooting at a particular unit, and the unit returned fire a lot. And by the
Mhm.
time they were done, the whole goats, camels, people, I mean, but they did the same thing. They put the women in front, and
Yeah,
it didn't work out well for them that night.
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. And Courtney, I couldn't imagine it either until I saw it firsthand.
Sure.
And I don't wish that on anybody. Not even my worst enemy would I want to send them to friggin' Haiti to see what I saw at 18, 19 years old. Now, and I know there was shit that happened in Iraq, Afghanistan, and I don't even talk about, that deployment very much at all, just because, yeah, I just don't.
Someone
It-
asked me not too long ago when we got to Somalia, how long until we actually saw any type of combat? And I sat there for a second. I said, oh, the very first freaking night. They mortared our asses the first night we were in country.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
a lot of people that are here that have opinions about things, in the world today, there's opinions on what you should get involved with and what you shouldn't get involved with and how you should treat things, and everybody deserves a second chance and you shouldn't treat people like that and all these different things. Everybody has their soapbox they sit on. To go to another country and leave this one, if half the people and that's the thing, a lot of people are like, if this person or that person or whatever happens in the country, if this happens, I'm leaving. Fucking go then.
You fucking go, yeah.
Your ass is going to be coming right back as soon as you get out of here. Like that vacation you took to that country, you got money, so you didn't get to see everything.
Yeah.
But this is the fucking greatest country on the planet. That's
Absolutely.
why so many people are crossing the border every day. That's why
Yep.
so many people are trying to get in here. That's why
Yep.
so many people want to come here. And it's even better now because they get everything for free.
Yeah.
Of course they want to
Yeah.
come here, but it is the land of opportunity. And so not a lot of people really care about that anymore. And I don't think they really realize that. And until you leave here and go somewhere else, and even if you haven't been anywhere where it's been horrible, to go into another country and see like how women are treated in those countries culturally, right? Even if it's not in a conflict area, and you go, oh my God, dude, right?
Yeah.
And going on those deployments, and they tell all the ladies in your unit, look, this is what you have to do when you go there. And we're like, what?
Yeah.
Why? All the women are like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay on base. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
Because if I got
I think
I'm not going.
Michael says it right here. Greatest country, but our government is destroying it from within. And
Yeah,
Michael's absolutely, he's 100% right. I
For sure.
love my country, but
Yeah.
I'm not real happy with my government.
Yeah, but we changed that.
Yeah.
And so what needs to happen is people that all feel that way. We all need to that it sounds so crazy, but go fucking vote.
Yeah.
Not pretending like it's not going to matter. Because how many people do you guys meet that go, oh, they're going to rig it anyway and it's not going to matter? Well, if
Yeah.
enough people say that and they don't go vote, then the person you didn't want gets elected because all you dipshits didn't go out and vote.
That's why the
Exercise.
border's wide open, because we're buying votes.
But here's the thing.
Just go
Here's the-
vote.
Yeah,
Make your voice
definitely
heard,
go
right?
vote. But here's the thing. It starts out at the lower levels in government. Not because right now, look who our two choices are going to be for president. You got Joe Biden and you got Donald Trump. That's our two choices. Who's the lesser evil?
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I mean, so
Honestly, it doesn't matter.
No, I agree. It doesn't, and we need to start, and our votes start at the lower levels, because what we need is people that are like-minded. Hell, we need a shit ton of veterans in office. Is what we need.
Have you guys seen that trend? That trend is upticking as things go by. So, I live in the great state of Texas. So for me, I know about Texas, but in Texas, close to where I'm at in the Houston area, Dan Crenshaw, former Navy SEAL, is a congressman out of the Woodlands up in Houston.
Yeah.
And then Latrell's brother, Morgan, is now a congressman in the government. So there's 2 SEALs from Texas in Congress that will be covered there. But I mean, even when you start to watch these shows, obviously they're going to bring people on that are veterans when they want to make a statement or a point and get more ratings. There's a lot of people running that are veterans, a lot of people running that were first responders. I've said it a lot of times. For me personally, my opinion, and my opinion is my opinion, you see how things turn. And, I've asked people the questions, what is unique about the last 3 people that were in office opposed to the majority of all the other presidents that we've had?
Yeah.
It was military service, whether it was National Guard, whether it was reserves, or it was active, it didn't matter, like some fashion of that. And I think learning how to work as a team, work with people that are different than you, be like-minded, serve something bigger than yourself. I think a lot of that stuff helps you when you get into that arena. Because think about it in the military. How many times, you just said it just now, Willis, I couldn't do anything. They told me I couldn't do nothing, so I didn't do anything. But we had to make sure we dealt with that conflict, right? Conflict resolution is probably the biggest skill set you learn in the military, and not a lot of people appreciate it from veterans when they get out.
Yep.
Because they just love conflict. When we get out, we don't want conflict, right? I know that my wife would she'd beg to differ on it just because of our mindset, and we get agitated and all that stuff. But overall, we don't want conflict. We don't go to big crowds. We don't go to these other things. We don't put ourselves in that position to do that. And I think that's an important key of it. Obviously, we're in the greatest country ever. We're not going to make that mandatory, because if we do that, then that means that we're saying that, anyone who's an American can't, run. But I do think it's important. I do think it's something that you should really take a look at. Yeah, that's the comment about you don't like it. Yeah.
Look, here.
My best friend.
No, this one.
Shake and bake.
Look.
You just tell Albert to go put those, however much those boots are on, and then watch Yellowstone, and then you'll go to bed.
$3,000 boots, bro. That hurt his feet.
They sit on a show. But I mean, think about it. Like, when you have those kind of things that those people had to go through those times, right? Something as simple as, what do you mean I got to sleep in the same room with somebody I've never met before, and we're going to meet today? Oh, and by the way, you have to get along. You don't have, because if you don't, somebody dies. And you're like, oh, for real? So now I really have to care. But you find out real quick that everybody has the same, like-mindedness once they get in there. They're all there for each other. Alice said it before on our podcast before, a lot of times you're not down there, and it sounds crazy, is you're not down there for the flag that's behind you, Willis, right? The one that's behind me in the shadow box. Yep. When you're there, your main concern is the guy to the left and the right, because they have a family and they're trying to come home. So all those guys are down there for each other. They're down there for our country. They're not defending what we got to do. But Al made the best point, is like, I was there for these dudes. I need to make sure they get out. That's my focus, and to put it that way means that you have to be selfless in some form or fashion, right? It can't just all be about you or what you want or how you want it to be. And so sometimes you have to understand that she'll probably steal them from you. They're really nice.
Yeah, they don't hurt her feet.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's something to look at. It helps. It definitely helps, because it helps you also understand how to, see the bullshit that's coming around the corner,
Oh, and so many people don't really understand the innards of being in a team in the military.
Yeah.
They don't understand that really we're not racist. We don't see color. We don't give 2 shits. You're from Puerto Rico, Japan, black. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
When we go down the street here and all hell breaks loose, I'm going to look to you to cover my ass. You're going to look to me to cover your ass. I'm supposed to stop, say, oh, wait, he's Asian. I'm not going to help him. It don't work that way. So if we had more people that actually understood the military.
Yeah, look at that. I had the same thing. The only color you're looking for is OD green. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yep. No, I agree.
For sure.
And Ty said it best. Like we say we don't see color when we're in the military, which we don't. I mean, when I was in a fighting hole with a black male next to me, that's my brother. That's all I see. It's my brother in the hole with me. Or if he was Asian or Native American, whatever, that's my brother. But we do see color to celebrate their heritage, their history. That's the only time that you see color. And a lot of people says, "Oh, well, people in the military are racist." No. You can't be racist in the military. It just don't.
No, you
It just
can't.
don't happen.
Because I mean, how many times have you sat on watch or in that foxhole or out in the middle of nowhere with somebody that is like their Native American background? They could be from Haiti, they could be from somewhere, and you learn about what it was like for them to grow up and their things, and you're like, "Damn, that shit's pretty badass." And then they're like, "Where'd you grow up?" I'm like, Texas. We didn't do much. You know what I mean? It was different.
Y'all done got in trouble now. Y'all done got in trouble now.
I know. What I do wrong. What I do wrong.
Sorry. I saw your text earlier.
No, you're good. Welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Sorry I had to step away for a second, but I do have that 11 April update.
What's going on
Nice.
11 April?
Oh my God.
James don't forget.
Podcast. Hey, don't worry about it, James.
James is gonna be our first no show ever. I'll be like, damn.
You'll never, if you're a no show, you won't be they'll never let you live that down.
No, probably not.
Hey, so the offer on my house was just accepted, so I might be moving.
Nice.
Oh, congratulations. Are you gonna make some money?
Huh?
You gonna make a lot of money?
No, I'm gonna spend a lot of money.
Okay, there you go.
So he's buying a house.
Yeah.
Finally, he's been searching
buying a house
for the last 3 months.
Oh, there you go.
I'm 53 years old and I've never bought a home.
No kidding.
Yeah. So a little backstory. So Matt, he don't tell a lot of people, but he's a realtor. And then Ty, he's in marketing, but he's Veteran Mortgages Solutions. So I know some people. And then Julie, of course, Julie's in mortgages as well. So
my mortgage company took really good care of me. I'm only paying 18.62%.
That's the best rate I've ever seen.
Look, Julie,
I'd stick with it if I were you.
I'm looking at your comments. Julie's funny because Al's like, "Hey, Julie, you're the good one. You got any sisters?" And she goes, "I got one baby sister. She's super."
Yeah. So Stephanie. So funny story about Stephanie. When I first met Stephanie was 13. I want to say 13 years old, and she found out what I did in the military. What's the worst question that somebody can ask you about your time in service?
How many people did you kill?
Yeah. That's the first question. She said, "Have you ever killed anybody?"
Right.
Not that I know of.
I'm like, how in the fuck do you answer that question?
I tell folks all the time when I get asked that one, because everybody else after that didn't count. The first one tears your soul out. The first one makes your heart stone. The first one is the one that you see every single day for the rest of your life. So just one, because the rest of them don't count.
Yeah. Hey, Al.
Ask Al Hero real quick. Ask him. Just tell him to put yes or no. Are you getting promoted? No. That's all I need to know.
Well, I sent him an invite, so if he wants to jump on, he can. I sent him an invite.
Well, I don't want to hear him brag, dude.
He might just jump on for the hell of it.
He might be like,
so Julie said she was
fired.
15.
Boop.
So Julie said she was 15. Yeah, the first question when I met Stephanie was, have you ever killed anybody? And she still feels terrible.
And so Stephanie, she's in EMS, right?
Yes, she's a captain.
And I heard, just because I listen sometimes, she just got promoted, right?
Yes.
There you go. Congratulations.
Yeah, she got promoted to captain with Oldham County, man. And
that's awesome.
And if you know anything about like first responders and stuff like that, it's to be a female, kind of like in the military, to be female and be promoted to the rank of captain. I mean, that's awesome. I mean,
you better have another hour left in your show. Al's looking for an invite.
Hey, he's got it in his email right now.
But that means he's got to open his email. Then he's got to go look at it. Then he's got to figure out what the blue thing is. You just touched that. That's going to be a minute.
And see, that young lady asking you that question, learn something that she'll carry the rest of her life.
Oh, yeah.
And not only does she learn something, she's taught other people that lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And literally she will fucking apologize every time that it's brought up. And I don't bring it up very often just because I know how terrible she feels about that. But she's never asked another veteran that question ever again since then.
But she's also in that arena where she's helping people that are in that last instance there, right?
Yep.
Compassion is needed, and she needs to be calm, and she needs to be collective. And she, even though it was a weird question to ask, probably the reaction you gave her and how you answered it probably helps her a lot today, and how she reacts to those situations.
Yeah.
Kind of approaches them. So it helps on both sides. But I just wanted to tell her congratulations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's
and I'm fitting to have a mental breakdown, and you guys are going to watch it live. Because now I'm officially out of Raisinets.
Uh-oh.
Start eating the orange cream peanuts you got there.
You got any yellow crayons? Willis will send you some. He doesn't eat those.
Plenty.
He only eats the red ones.
No.
Yeah,
no,
I only
we were
eat
talking
the
about
red
that
ones.
shit.
Whenever people ask me questions about that kind of thing, I always push it back to the Walking Dead. I ask them the 3 questions. Well, how many walkers have you killed? How many people have you killed? And why?
And why?
So, none of that shit ever bothered me.
Becky, you're probably right. My reaction to it is the reason why she chose to maybe be EMS. And she's, here's so Stephanie, she goes to a Shelby Christian church up in Shelbyville, and she reached out to me last year, right around Veterans or before Veterans Day, and she's like, "Hey, I want to have an event at church for veterans," and so we worked it out, and she had a big event for veterans, and she's definitely got a servant's heart, and we talk about that all the time. When you're in the military, you have a servant's heart. When you get out of the military, you lose that sense of purpose. Well, you have to find something to fill that void, and kind of with like going in EMTs, being an EMT or paramedic, which she's a paramedic, that's having that servant's heart, and she continues that mission every day. And the shit, I guarantee there's shit that she saw that us 4 here on this screen probably hadn't seen.
Sure.
I mean, I've heard the horror stories.
Yeah.
Look who's here. There.
Where them boots at?
All right, fellas, I gotta go.
All right, James, be good, buddy.
Oh, he's got to go. He's an X.
No, James ain't leaving.
What's Navy guy?
It is another Navy guy.
Damn.
That's okay.
Hey, send Mike a link. Send Michael a link, so at least we can get another Army guy in here.
Well, Ty's here.
That's
Ty's
two.
Army.
Look,
Yeah.
No.
Marine Corps.
You want to outnumber the room. I get
Right.
it. I got it.
Marine Corps, that's Department of the Navy.
It's sure.
Oh shit! You see this?
So it's 3-2 right now. Oh shit!
Oh shit! hold on. Hold on.
Hey Al, Becky said, "Wow, your internet's working today."
He ain't got his headphones on yet.
I can hear you, motherfuckers.
So yes or no?
What is this? You got some actual microphones?
I know. What I tell
Look
you?
at you.
He's pulling out the microphone.
I've had the microphone, Ty. I just keep it out of view.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Look at Al. He is now like ascending the corporate ladder.
So take a look over here. Look at this big motherfucker. I'll tell you about this in a minute, Matt. Look at that thing.
Holy shit! Hold on, let me go full screen.
You guys
go
get
back full
animals than anybody I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
that dog is big.
It is.
Was that number 10 now?
No. So yesterday, I get a call from my son. He works at the river down in Blackwater at the canoe place. He's like, "Hey, there's a dog here. She's been here for like a couple of weeks. Like looks like she's hurting or whatever. Can y'all bring some food up?" So I show the fuck up. He's like, "It's real skittish. It's scared of people." I'm like, "Fuck." So I show up. I open my fucking truck door. Jumps in my truck, lays in my back seat. I'm like, so she's big, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not digging her out of here. Like, I don't know what to do." So I'm like, "Screw it. We'll take her." April's like, "We'll take her home, and we'll see if we'll take her to the vet and see if she's been microchipped. If she's somebody's dog." So I get her home. I give her a bath. Like, she's super chill. She was somebody's dog. She sits, she shakes, she lays down. She's kennel trained. She fetches, and take her to the vet. She can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
So she is nobody's dog. Well, then I look on like the Santa Rosa County, Escambia County, like pet like lost pets page, and people have been posting pictures of her forever. Like, hey, we've seen her for a while. She's running on the road. She's scared. We can't get her to come out. She won't take food. So somebody dumped her. So I called the shelter today. I'm like, hey, I've got this dog. Like, can I bring her in? See if she's been microchipped. And they're like, yeah, it's a 5-month wait to take her into the shelter. But you can come in here and fill out paperwork, and you can foster her until we find her a home.
Well, looks like you just got a dog.
Yeah, because I took her to the vet day in April, paid $500 to get her shots and get her checked out. All her pads on her paws are just cut up and raw. Where she's just been. They dumped her in a state park. There's no people there. She got lucky and found the building that does all the canoe rentals, and Alex just happened to be feeding her pizza and stuff. But so here she is.
Did they tell you what breed?
Yeah, they think she is.
Yeah, look at my man Dan Levine's in the room. You know it.
What's up, bro?
So,
David, they think he is a Malinois blackmouth cur.
Oh, okay.
Whoa. So if for some reason you don't want to keep the dog, then maybe Laura Murray would be interested, depending upon the age, because she's about 8.
They said based on her teeth and she's about 18 months old. So she's not very old.
Oh man,
she's got her shot. I mean, when I say she's like dog, dude. You're like down. She lays down. She's kennel trained. I mean, she's good with my. She's been good with my daughter. She's good with my dogs. Like my other dogs fucking hate her, but
well, my cat, because she's sitting next to you, and you tell them to get the fuck out every time they come in.
She almost got kicked. Was taken back to the state park last night because I got on the couch and she decided she was going to try to give me a little loving. Daddy don't play the hump game. I do the humping in this house. You know what I'm saying?
So. You said you had some news and you gave Matt a thumbs up. So I want to hear the news.
He knows. I
just told you guys.
I don't know,
I was ascending the corporate ladder. That dude's
I want to hear.
Like
I end up getting. So I had been interviewing for that management role that Matt's way more qualified and should have done it, but he didn't want it. And I understand why. He's got a lot of shit going on. Yeah. So I end up getting the promotion to that position, which is going to be good because now I can work with Matt and Adrian, the people that work with us, and really. Do things do things the right way and do the team stuff that we're supposed to be doing right. So awesome. I end up getting it, and then it's good because it's going to open up my position, which I've already had a couple of buddies. A guy named Luke Casada. I don't know if I should say his name online. His name's Bobby Johnson. He's a 12-year dev group operator, and he's looking for something. And a couple other guys.
Oh yeah, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
Oh yeah.
A couple other guys that are looking. So hopefully,
talking about Debo.
Yeah. So hopefully I can help a veteran out, right, and vacate something and bring somebody else in if I can, right. So we'll see.
Well, that's awesome. Congrats, brother. Congrats.
Oh shit! Now
so we were talking about last week's triple threat episode, my friend.
Yeah.
How deep it got, man. How deep
was
that? Oh.
It was good. I mean, and that's so. And I heard James kind of talking about kind of how we operate as military members and veterans. I think that right there for me is the reason why I talk to Ty all the time about it. That's why I do this podcast, right? It's not because I'm hoping that eventually somebody will know my fucking name, because I don't care if anybody knows my name, but I hope that we provide a platform just like you do, Willis, and all these veteran podcasts provide a platform where we give a voice to a veteran who feels like they're not heard, right? Or we give help to a veteran who feels like there's no help, whether it's PTSD, alcoholism, whatever their vices, or even if it's not even that deep, whatever they're struggling with. I hope that through our network and through what we do, that we provide some sort of service, right? Because people feel like the VA screwed them over, or this, whatever, or the military, whatever it is. I hope that we provide a sounding board and a platform to honestly help somebody, or just to give them a voice to come on and be able to get on the chat and just air out whatever they want. And it's great because me and Ty, I think we go back and forth. I read all the comments as they're coming in, and I share them, and he does the same thing. Sometimes I step on his toes, and I'm like, oh, he's already shared it. But I like the fact that I can read the comments, and there's a lot of communication with the people that are viewing. Right. Yeah. They're talking shit to each other, and they're having a good time, and they're like, hey, here's my number. Here's this. Like, you may not get help from Al Hero. I might be not your resource that you can relate to, but somebody in that chat, or somebody on this call, or somebody on your network, somebody in our network of veteran podcasts can provide a service it's as big or as small as that might be to somebody, right?
Yeah.
And change somebody's perspective and make somebody feel like, man, I was having a shitty day or I've had a shitty week and I got on this podcast, any podcast, and somebody listened to me and answered my question or provided something, right? Because I feel like a lot of our community feels like once, and I felt the same way, right? When I retired, I was like, man, they can't replace me, bro. And all of a sudden, the next day I'm replaced, right? And like, I ain't shit. No, I ain't shit. Like that fast? Damn, bro. It's only been like 2 hours.
That's like Talladega Nights. I was gone for two hours.
Right. That's exactly right. But I feel like, it gives people like, hey, you know what? I'm still important and I still matter. And my service still matters, whether it was 4 years or 20 years or 30 years. It don't matter. It's your service. You signed your name on the dotted line, and whether you went to combat or not everybody's a combat veteran, and that shit doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you sign your name on a line and said, I am willing and able and ready to defend freedom and democracy around the world, right? Against all enemies, foreign and domestic, or I'm willing to die for a brother. And like James said, whether they're black, so my brother made a shitty comment on the podcast and I fucking lit his ass up. I was pretty irritated about it. Me and Ty talked about it offline. I was real mad. Like if I would have been in the room with him, we probably would have been like when we were kids, like throwing hands. Cause that ain't it. I tell people all the time, I don't care what we're doing. Our platform is for veterans. I don't care who you sleep with, how many penises you licked on, how many whatevers, what color your skin is. I don't give a shit. None of that matters. I don't care if you were a dude, now you're not. And none of that matters. Your political background. I'm a diehard, fucking right wing, right conservative, but I don't give a fuck what you are. What I care about is that you served your country like I did, and you would have died for me. I would have died for you, whether I've met you today or I've known you for 20 years. At the end of the day, my whole purpose is I want to help you. I want to get you whatever service or whatever you need, whether it's a conversation, whether it's a fucking hug or a beer, it don't matter. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't give a shit who you vote for, what your political background is. It has no bearing on your service and what you sacrifice for this nation, period. Fucking point
I agree
blank.
with you.
Point blank.
And what's weird about what you just said, the morning after the firefight in Somalia, we were taken dead off the top of APCs.
Yep.
And the first gentleman that we got a hold of, as soon as we pulled him over, the whole side of this big white APC was just full of blood. He just, I can't remember to this day what color that guy was. But I did tell my mother, I said, the first thing that hit my mind when I grabbed this boy, I know he's dead before his mama.
Yep. Yep. Facts.
I mean, in that kind of instance, the only color you remember is red.
Yeah.
James, I wish I could remember his name, because when I first came in the Navy and when I first got into the Seabees, I had a lieutenant who was in the Army, and he was there. He was in Mogadishu. He was in Somalia the whole time, an enlisted guy in the Army. And then he came over into the Navy. But I wish if I can ever find his name, I'll reach out to you, because I'm sure you know him. So yeah, it doesn't matter. What I do know is his blood was red, just like yours is. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
I don't know if y'all know this, but Willis and I and a couple of real good friends in the area treated a veteran's family for Christmas.
Yeah.
They were kind of down on their luck, and he had to adopt some nephews and a niece out of a bad situation, so it strapped him. We found out about it. Man, I come into the subdivision on my big ATV. I had 3 police chasing me. We're hitting horns and sirens. We go all the way around the subdivision. I've got Santa Claus, the Grinch, Cindy Lou Who, and Santa's little helper in my ATV. And the time we fly up in this guy's front yard, and the police, the fire trucks, the Warrior Rounds trailer come in, and the Warrior Rounds trailer was loaded with groceries, toys, David and our friends helped get. And here's the moral of the story. I found out that the guy not only served at Fort Drum, 10th Mountain Division, the same time I did, he was in Somalia the same time I was, because he was attached to one of our support units.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes.
Now he lives right down the freaking road from me.
Nice.
And he was there.
Well, not for long.
Not for long, because you're moving.
Not for long. I will.
But yeah, it is such a small world. Like Coralie with Conversations just said, it's a small world, and they always say 6 degrees, like Kevin Bacon. Everybody
Ty
knows
Cobb.
somebody.
Kevin Bacon. That's not Kevin Bacon. It's Ty Cobb.
Okay, so Ty Cobb. We'll just say Ty Cobb.
7 degrees of Ty Cobb is what you should be saying.
It's just amazing that our community of veterans is so large. But if like, for example, Matt, you were in Korea the same time that I was in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that. We figured that out. I guess a couple months ago when we figured that out, and it's just like, dude, our community is so large, but yet so small.
Shout out, Pohang.
Yeah.
Waterwell
Ty,
debt, baby.
Aren't you at Campbell? How long you been there?
No, I'm in Houston, Texas, but I was at Fort Campbell for a decade when I was active.
Okay. How long has that been?
2017, I got out, but I was there. I was at Fort Campbell from 1999 until 2009.
Oh, okay. Because I hunt right up the road, and I was going to say, well, hell, if Ty's been at Fort Campbell when I was at Fort Campbell.
I love it. But no, yeah, I mean, and Julie here, this goes back to your comment a little bit ago about you don't care who you vote for or anything. Julie says, oh, good, because I voted for Kanye.
And I would believe that.
Yeah. She probably did. I guarantee it.
Easy.
Yeah. But no, man. So like, Al, you were on with the show with me last night or you were in the comments listening to Nick Ron last night. How deep was that conversation?
Yeah, because I mean, I like this whole perspective on, what he's doing. His outlook on like, it's partly selfish, right? Even though he's helping others, but I like when we talked about like, being selfish as a veteran means something different, I think, for us than it does for somebody, outside that uniform, right? Because it's selfish because you're doing something that's helping you, right? This podcast, the podcast that I've been blessed to be a part of, right? Matt Johnson and Ty and them and Scott, like I wasn't originally a part of this podcast at all. Like me and Matt had talked for months about getting on a podcast and me doing a podcast with him. And then they had this and they graciously invited me in and said, hey, why would you do your own podcast? Just jump in with us and we'll figure it the fuck out. Right. But selfishly, this podcast absolutely is therapeutic for me. Right. Even when, nothing's greater than like when Willis is like, hey bro, it's a Monday or whatever. He's like, jump on. I'm like, fuck yeah. I get a little extra therapy on a Monday right before Thursday. Right. It's so therapeutic. Right. And then the ability to help others, it helps you. Right. And like he was saying last night, like you're really, and he's right. You're no good to anyone else if your shit ain't in check, right? If your left and right lateral limits ain't in focus and you don't know, you don't have intersecting fields of fire, you're fucked, right? Yeah. You have to have your shit in one sock and be good to be able to help somebody else. So the fact that you have veterans who have issues, right? And I never like to say that veterans we're broken because we're fucking not. Like you can't break us, bro. We've done been through we walked through the fire and walked back out of it and walk back in if they ask us to. So you can't break us. Now we can get chinks in our armor and we can have, stuff that needs fucking PM maintenance and some 3M on it, but you ain't gonna break us. So his thought process that hey, he got himself good and had to work to rebuild the person that he wanted to be and to portray what he wanted to be, right? Because like. He was like, well, I feel like people, I tell my kids, right. If you know somebody that's doing well and you want to be like them, then attach yourself to somebody who's doing something great. Right. Don't attach yourself to the fucking trailer. I'm living in Florida to the meth addict down 2 trailers down from me and the single wide, right. I got a double wide. He ain't like me. The single wide, right. Hitch your wagon. To somebody
I like that, Al. You were like, don't. I live in Florida. You just dropped it in before you.
Hey, disclaimer, like,
right? So
you've seen Florida, man. We got a lot of weird shit.
Don't lie, bro. You live in like Pensacola.
I live in
like a mansion, bro.
So
no, I don't.
So Nick put it in kind of. So Nick kind of put it in perspective last night, where you always have the black cloud people that hang around you.
Yes.
And then you got the people that are, the white cloud. You need to eliminate the black cloud, the suckers, the negative suckers from your life. Because if I'm hanging out with somebody and they're putting you down always, oh, you're just you're worthless, you're not worth anything, you need to get rid of those people and find people that's going to support you in front of your face and behind your back. Not the ones that'll talk good to you in front of your face, and then as soon as you turn your back, they're oh, he's a piece of shit, he's worthless. You definitely need to get rid of those people. And Nick Ron with Warriors Next Adventure, I mean, he's this dude, his mind is all over the place. And he told us a story last night where he was had some failed marriages and stuff like that, and he was going to go commit suicide. He said he was paddling up the creek and his gun got wet. He pulled off to the bank somewhere and put the gun in his mouth or to his temple actually, and he said he pulled the trigger and it didn't go off. And he said he had to rebuild his life several times because he went down rabbit holes. He was telling a story about he went to Brazil with his jiu-jitsu trainer, his mentor, went down there for training in Brazil and met a Brazilian woman, brought her back home, got married, and he's something happened and he quit doing jiu-jitsu, and she's like, all right, I'm out too. So 2 weeks after she got her green card, she divorced him.
Hey, shout out to all the buy me drinky women that us vets bring home from all over the world. Shout out to all of my boys out there with the Korean wives and the Filipino wives and all the wives that they found in the red light district, and they married him. Shout out to all my boys, right? So no, but his story.
Way to fall for the story. Good job,
bro. His story is awesome because, he's been down 6 times, but he stood up that 7th. That's a testament to what veterans do, right? Because I'm an open book, right? I've been an inpatient for 45 days for PTSD. I've been through NIOC. I've been through TBI. I've been through all these different clinics and all this good stuff that help. But I'll tell you what turned me away from mental health originally was I went into mental health and I'm talking to a counselor, and this person ain't never done shit, don't have a clue. They're really like this, getting the book out, like, okay, hold on. What do you got going on? Hold on, what chapter is that in? Right. So it's really hard to connect with somebody who hasn't been through what you've been through, right?
Yeah.
But when you find a person like he is, who's been there, he's been in the suck, he's been in that suck it up mindset, and this shit sucks every day. And if it's raining, we're training mindset. And here's what we're doing. And to rebound, I feel like he could reach more people than that person who went to college for 10 years. And now I'm a doctor and I know shit, right? I'm more apt to talk to a clinician like a Berto Fife or somebody who understands truly what I'm trying to say or truly what I feel, right? It's different. Even you're like you, Willis, or I'll give you a prime example, like a Matt Johnson. I've known Matt Johnson for a very long time. And me and him, like there's times when I don't know if anybody knows this, but I'm a little bit of a loose cannon at times, right?
No way. You just got promoted, bro. You're the boss.
No way.
Sometimes I'm a little bit of a loose cannon. Like I'm quick to like, you want to fight outside? Let's go, right? Yeah. But there's been times in my life when like somebody that I trust and I respect and that's been through and understands my plight, I can reach out to a Matt Johnson and say, hey, bro, here's what's going on. Or listen to him when he has to reel me back in. Like, hey, motherfucker, like you're really like, hey, like it takes a lot for me to be like, you're right. Right. I understand. You're right. Even, fuck it, mate. You're right. Ty, you're right. Willis, you're right. James, you're right. Right. It's hard as a man to be like, in my head, I'm like, fuck this motherfucker. He don't know shit. But to listen to that. Right. And I listen and respect that because he's been through what we've been through. He's been separated from his family. He's missed birthdays and anniversaries and all these things that civilians and other people take for granted. Right. Like, oh, you were in the military. Like that's a last resort. Congratulations. Fuck you, motherfucker. That wasn't a last resort. Like that was my only resort. So let's get it right. That was all I had. That or jail. No, I'm just kidding. But it does matter, right? Those people can reach out and reel you back in.
The difference, Alan, people that are like Berto, right? Berto,
Yeah.
You know what I notice about Berto that I don't notice about a lot of other people that are supposed to be helping you? Berto never tells you what to do.
No.
Asks you a question and goes, what do you think about that? Or my favorite question Berto asks is, so what do you think you're going to do to make it better? Like he kind of back to you to tell you that in a way you can figure it out. Like he's there to help you with the journey, right? But I think the problem with therapy for a lot of veterans is like they go out and someone's trying to tell them how to be better. This is what you need to do to be better. And that veteran goes, that's so weird because like 6 months ago, I was praised for this shit.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me it's a problem. And I don't understand why it's a problem now because I live in the same house. I'm married to the same people. I'm going to the same places every day. But now like my behavior is horrible because when I walked in today, I'm wearing a t-shirt and a pair of shorts. But when I came in last week and had a uniform on, you didn't give a shit what I did. That's the problem is nobody can figure out how to put that stuff together. Right. And maybe just maybe they need to do a better job at helping that decompression in the military. I know they do a lot of job and they do those things to help. But Berto, when I went back and listened to the podcast the other day, he brought up a good point. He's like, they put the freaking clinic right across the street from the unit. Who the fuck is going to go there?
No one.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody in Fort Campbell, that's for sure.
No. Ty, how long? Hey, Matt, how many episodes are we into now? Like
35.
So I've known Ty for 35 weeks. 35 weeks. I mean, that's a true statement.
Yeah.
But I talk to Ty and I call Ty weekly to vent, to get help, to ask for advice, right? To have him talk me off a ledge. 35 fucking weeks.
Yeah.
I know people I've known for 20 years I don't call and ask for help. Right. It's such a different dynamic in our community, right? If I've got people that I work with in the civilian world, if they call me and was like, hey, I'm having a rough time, like
sorry.
That sucks. Woo, that shit sucks.
Hey,
bro.
I'll be completely honest with you. There's people that are in my family that I don't know. I mean, I would do anything for them, but there's people in my family that I have no idea what's going on with them because we're distant. But with this small group of people, that's the way my entire career has always been. Small teams. Like,
James nailed it earlier.
Berto,
it's the team mentality. James nailed it earlier. Was like it's the team. And if you haven't been in a team like Berto, like that, if anybody in these windows and there's a handful of other would like call me tomorrow, it's like, hey bro, I need you to don't ask any questions. I need you to come to Houston, just bring a fucking shovel. I'd be like, hey babe,
I need 2 shovels.
Yeah, here's what I need, April. I need an alibi. I was here all day long. You know what I mean? But I'm headed to Houston. Like, let's go, bro. I'll bring
to build on what Al said earlier about because you're educated. I've been in mental health with the VA since 2014. I mean, they wrote books about my ass. But anyway, my last doc, she's cool as shit. And I fire them left and right, but she's cool. She's not a combat vet, but she is a vet. And she's been on deployments as mental health for those soldiers that are out there doing that bullshit.
Yeah.
So although she's not front line, she's freaking front line because she's dealing with these knuckleheads when they come back in. So anyway, she had to take some time off. It was during the time I had an appointment with her. So her little secretary calls me and said that this guy is going to take her place. Okay. I go in and it looked like fucking Father Time was sitting there. Who dressed you this morning? You can't even stand up by yourself. You know what I mean? So I walk in. He goes, go ahead and have a seat. So I sit down and he stares at me. He says, you got anything to say? I said, I don't even know who the fuck you are. He never even introduced himself.
He probably didn't know his name.
He tells me his name and he said, so what can I do for you? I said, you haven't even glazed at my file.
Yep.
And he's like, no. I said, well, fuck you. And I got up and walked out. 2 days later, my real doctor calls me. She's like, you had a bad day?
You could say.
No, James, that's spot on.
Who told you?
I had a doctor. I had a naval doctor do me the same way. He was like, I sat down. He was like, so what are we here for? I had been gumming. So her name was Lieutenant Commander Demon Kata in Gulfport, and she had transferred. So I show up, and it's this new guy, and he was like, what are you here for? I was like, did you like? It's in the see that fucking chart, bro? Like, did you?
Right.
well, we'll just start from the beginning. Like, bro, I don't want to start from the beginning, bro.
We don't want to do that.
I'm tired of pulling this band-aid off. It ain't never going to heal. Leave me. Like,
I mean, they invited me to stay 4 days in Gainesville on the 6th floor, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
It's in the chart. All you had to do was you didn't have to read it all. I agree. It's a lot. Just look at it a little bit. Well,
yeah, just skim over it.
Read the clip notes, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why are you here, Paw? You
should have said rent the movie. Go watch the movie. Like, I mean, your story is in a movie. I mean, shit, bro.
So I'm just now starting my therapy journey with the VA. Now, I was kind of smart because, well, I can't say I was smart. So
I was going to say, it only took you how many years to start this shit?
It says the guy who just finally I talked into doing his VA claim.
It only took me 18 months.
But how long were you retired before you did it?
18 months.
You were retired longer than that, you son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay, whatever, asshole.
19.
Math's not my strong suit.
19 and a half. Who's counting?
Sorry, David. Go ahead, bro.
No, you're good. So I'm starting my VA journey, and I go in and see the original person at Stony Brook VA clinic where I go to, and she goes, well, what you need, I can't help you with because we're just like the inpatient. We're supposed to do this, but you don't need the extreme. You need somewhere in the middle. And I was like, okay, well, how long before I can get in? And she's like, oh, well, you're looking at 3, 4, 5 months before you can get in to see somebody. I was like, I need to go ahead and see somebody now, right? I said, so what about a community consult so I can go out into the community and see somebody? And she said, okay. And so she set it up for somebody from community consult because it had to get approved to go out into the community. And the guy calls me. He goes, all right, so what do you need? I was like, all right, I work from 7 a.m. to 3 o'clock most days, unless I'm on overtime, then I work later. So I need somewhere that will let me go, later in the day, like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, so I can make it. And he goes, okay, we'll get that squared away. So he calls me up probably about a week or two later, and he goes, well, I have a place in Shepherdsville you can go to. He said, you just need to fill out the paperwork. So I call them and get the paperwork started. And I'm like, what's your latest appointment? And they're like, well, 3 o'clock is our latest appointment. I was like, well, that's not going to work for me because I need to be after 3. And on their website, it says they're open till 6. And I'm like, what the hell? So I had to call back to community consult, get it set back up for another one. And I go into this place, this doctor, and I sit down and I'm chit chatting with him on my intake. And he looks at me, he goes, yeah, you got chronic PTS. He said, but I can't help you because I've never been in your shoes and dealt with you. He said, but we do have some people on staff that deal with PTS and stuff like that. So I went to my first appointment with the doc, and literally when I walked in the door to his office, his hair was like bright white and it was just like all over the place. It looked like a doc from Back to the Future. And I'm like, bro. So I'm sitting there telling him my story, and he goes, well, I've dealt with a lot of PTS, is what he said. He said, I've dealt with a lot of PTS. I can't tell you that I know what you went through or what you've gone through, but I've dealt with it. I'm thinking to myself, how are you really going to help me deal with what I got going on if you've never been in a situation where this shit has happened? And so, we did our little talk, and I'm gonna give it a little bit of time and see if it works. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. I'll just have to go somewhere else. But I think, like with Berto, he's been in the suck. He knows what's going on. I got a buddy, Will Kreisman, who was in the Army. He's a clinical psychologist now. But he's also at Fort Knox. He's embedded in the unit at Fort Knox now. So he's a civilian, but he's working at Fort Knox as a clinical therapist there with the unit. And I'm like, and I asked him, I said, well, how does that work? He goes, anybody from the unit can come to me any time of the day. As long as I'm, on post, and they can always call me. And I'm like, well, that's cool. Cause when we were in, we didn't have that. I didn't have a clinical psychologist that was stationed with each unit, but now I guess the Army's doing that. Is that something that you know about, Ty? I think they're called FEMLACs.
No, it's called a bottle of bourbon.
Yeah, it is. There are many different LACs that they've been called throughout the year, but we've always had someone behavioral health because of the op tempo.
Yeah.
At Fort Campbell, there's always someone available. So I want to say this, though. Let's not get off on a tangent of saying that just because someone is a civilian therapist that they can't help us, because there's varying degrees of PTS.
Yeah.
So at any given point, my PTS and the things I'm able to resolve in my own brain are going to be way different than what James can resolve, mostly because of the heinous acts that he witnessed that I was not in Mogadishu. So
Right.
I've seen different things. So as veterans, I think it's incumbent upon us to be strong enough, especially like senior leader veterans, like that have deployed a lot and been in for a long time. We need to listen. We need to be okay with going to therapy, even if it isn't civilian, because the things that they teach you in psychiatric school or social worker school or any of these schools are the same thing that a veteran's going to get. So it's the same thing. The only difference is you're feeling better about the relationship that you're having with that person.
Yeah.
But the steps they give you will help you if you're able to receive them. Now, for us veterans, it's just easier for us to receive it from a veteran because let's admit it and let's call it what it is. We're stubborn sometimes about our own therapy.
Yep.
Hands down.
That's all I want to say. But yes, they do have those available.
I'm gonna blow your socks off, guys, and I'll put a little bit of my personal information out there. I'm 90%. That's where I'm at. I was at 60. We filed for 100. So I've got, I went through the cancer bullshit. That's all claimed and shit, and PTSD. But do you know why they didn't take me to 100? Because I did not have enough suicidal ideations and or attempts. Please help me understand that shit. So if I would have hung myself 4 times instead of 1, I could have got it.
That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying?
Too, though, the thing that's crazy that all of you guys just talked about, right? The first misstep that person made, because here's the reality. Probably people that are in mental health also know that veterans are stubborn, right? And I guarantee if somebody that's civilians knows that they're going to talk to a veteran, they're probably like, fuck.
Exactly.
Right? Because they're like, this person's coming in ready to charge the wall. But the problem that you have there is you got one person that's probably afraid to walk in the door, right? They don't want to talk about that shit. And you don't know what I've been through, so you can't tell me nothing, right? But then that other person completely started off inappropriate going, I don't know if I can help you. Then you're like, what the fuck am I here for?
Yeah.
What needs to happen is, we all are in our own journey at some point or in fashion. You got to find someone that will sit down, listen, talk to you. Sometimes just telling you to unpack what you're telling them. You just listen, right?
And you hit the nail on the head right there, because I am not an educated therapist.
Yep.
I'm not an educated doctor. I've lived this shit for a long time.
Yeah.
The number one thing that we can do for one another is exactly what we're doing right now.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Because you understand me, I understand you. So earlier today, when I talked about, I don't care if we get 50 veteran organizations together, somebody on my speed dial is able to help this guy or this gal right here, right now, if I can.
Yep.
And that's why it's so important. The more, the merrier, because we are all after the same goal.
Yeah.
And again, and Willis knows this. I've said it. I've been in professional meetings before, and I say, hold it, you sons of bitches. Nobody has anything about money in their damn mission statement.
Yeah.
So if I see or hear greed, I'm taking all my toys, and I have a bunch, and I'm going home.
Yeah, for sure.
Fuck you. I'm out. I'm not going to let you tarnish what I'm trying to do for an organization that I'm representing that has done so well. Fuck, they've been on CMT. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not going to let you do that over. I said it earlier. I've said it a million times. If you do the right thing and you do it for the right reason, the money will come. We all know we have to have money to keep going. We don't have to have $1 million in the bank. But for us with Warrior Rounds, it's $30,000 a show. We don't charge nobody. We fork out $30,000 to have a concert at the Hard Rock Cafe in downtown Nashville. $30,000. Yes, we need to make $30,000 for the next show.
My child support checks are fucking late, bro. I need some money. You know what I mean? God dang.
if we do it for the right reasons, the money.
Yeah, if like you said, if you do it for the right reasons and you're organic about the way you build your organization and you stay true to your roots and you stay true to everything that makes your organization great, then the money will come eventually because enough people will it'll be word of mouth and people be like, oh, well, this is a great organization here. I want to send my money here. And
absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, I'm on like Wounded Warrior Project or Mission 22. All these big name organizations that had a bad apple come up the chain and take over, and that happens. And everybody says, "Oh, well, I'll never trust Wounded Warrior Project ever again." Well, they got new people, new leadership in there, and they're doing great things. And then you got these small time veteran service organizations that has somebody who founded it for the right reasons, but once they start getting a little bit of notoriety, it goes to their head. I said that wrong. I know I did. But
how everybody says it up the notoriety.
I'm originally from Georgia. It sounded good to me, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
I know some comedians in the veteran world that are like that right now. I ain't gonna mention no name, but I know some that are like way too big for their little baby britches. You know what I'm saying?
But exactly what we're doing right now and everything we're talking about. Michael just put it in the chat there. James said it when he and I met. I met Michael in Parkersburg, West Virginia. That's how he got in this little rotation here.
Your Kentucky showing.
They're at the top of the hill. I'm at the bottom. So I drove up to the top of the hill one day. I met him and his lovely wife. They're with the West Virginia Patriot Guards. But like Michael said, one veteran at a time. And that's what we focus on. But like Matt said earlier, on one of my few talks that I've had with groups, did I have 3? Did I have 5? I'm happy going to bed because I had one person come up to me after show and said, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I got my 1.
Yep.
But did I have 3? Did I have 5? Did I have 10? I don't know. I wanted that 1. Everything else is the bonus. Again, when I go to sleep at night, in my mind, it's no longer 22 a day. It's 21. Because every show I've been at, I've had at least one person say, thank you. You helped me.
Yeah.
So I'm batting 1,000. And that's why I try. When I go there, you talked about it earlier, Al. It's so therapeutic for me. Mm-hmm. When I leave that audience, I am emotionally and physically drained. I put it out there. I'm crying. I'm blowing snot. There's people in the audience crying, blowing snot. I put it out there.
You're going to church.
My life is not worse than anybody else's.
Yeah.
The name of my program is We All Do It Different.
Yeah. That's true.
Mine's not worse than yours.
Hey, James, I'm going to come to your show, bro, so I can sweep all the big panties off the stage that people be throwing at you, bro. I'm going to sweep it off for you. I'm gonna
off the stage no. My girlfriend is watching. There's no panties on stage. There is no panties on stage.
Tell her I'm throwing mine on stage.
It's only backstage.
I'm throwing some chonies on the stage, some whitey tighties.
Beer cans and empty Solo cups. There are no panties being thrown.
I was going to throw silkies up there.
I'm going to throw my silkies, but my dive shorts coming on stage.
I did have a diaphragm come up.
That's the uniform for November, Al. We're wearing silkies and
I've got my Marine Corps
silkies
in the drawer. I'm wearing them silkies.
Nice.
We're wearing silkies the whole time.
I'm going to get my legs tanned up a little bit. I live in Florida, but my legs are like I live up in New York. God, no.
That'd be hilarious.
Okay. My Kentucky's going to come out when I come back home.
Hell yeah.
Find me a place in Houston. Find me a place in Texas. It costs no money.
Hey, we got a location in Texas that you can come to that's got a stage set up and ready to go.
Hi, David.
Listen, I tell people all the time it costs $0 to get me down there. I'm fat. If you want to buy me a cheeseburger when I get there, a plate of spaghetti, I'm good.
We know some good barbecue guys.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, we do. Hell, hey, here's how good their barbecue is in Texas. I ain't gonna talk no shit. There's a barbecue place here that I go to every Saturday.
Is that the one that you're in pictures every week on? I was going to ask where that place is.
850. It's 850's barbecue. They have a truck. But
is your nameplate on that table? Because it looks like you're in the same damn table.
They've been on the Smoking Gooder. They know all those people. They're from Texas. Bro, I'm going to tell you what. I talk a lot of shit about barbecue, but boy, Texas barbecue, it's like Kentucky bourbon. I don't care if you're from Tennessee and you're watching this, your bourbon ain't shit. I just want to throw that out there.
Hold on.
You don't have. Whoa.
Say that again, Al.
Tennessee, your whiskey, your bourbon, whatever y'all call it, it ain't shit.
Tennessee is whiskey. Tennessee is whiskey.
Yeah,
Canada is whiskey.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. See, you nailed it. That's the problem. If your shit matches anything in Canada, you're fucked up. If it ain't from Kentucky, don't drink it. You might as well piss in a bottle and pour it to your family. That's what you're doing. If you buy anything that says Tennessee on it, just go ahead and pour it out and piss in a bottle and share that. It's about as good as it's going to be.
Beautiful Commonwealth of Kentucky, home of fast women and beautiful horses.
There you go.
I got this shit. I love my shirt.
Kentucky basketball.
So my son's girlfriend bought me this I think it was a Father's Day gift. She buys me all my good shit. All my other stuff comes from like the flea market and shit. But anything nice I'm wearing, it probably came from my son's girlfriend.
Are you close to Tallahassee?
I am about 2.5 hours away. I'm in between Pensacola.
The nasty, bro.
I'm close to Navarre Beach, Navarre, Florida. I'm in Milton.
You're
Milton,
exactly
Florida.
2.5 hours from
I
Tallahassee.
lived in Cairo and Thomasville, Georgia.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Columbus. So Thomasville. So one of my mentors in the Navy when I first came into the Navy was a lady, and she was from Thomasville. And country is a damn college
brass and anchor kicking, bro.
Well, it's back when they started all these damn.
Hey, I got mine. But I'm gonna show you let me show you Ty's. Let me show you mine real quick. See the difference.
Look at there you go, Ty.
Oh, good Lord.
Hold on.
Jason, if you're listening,
Willis, do I need to move my camera?
That is the bomb.
Willis, do I need to move my camera?
Yeah, so mine's been well seasoned. Mine's been used.
This is the first time I drank any of mine. I was waiting for people to come to town, but I figured.
And Ty, because I'm on a budget, dude. I'm drinking them Bush lattes. I'm on a budget.
All right, so here we go. James is about to show you guys, and you're going to want to go to James's house.
Fellas.
You already told me I couldn't have any, though.
Y'all remember the old statement, don't bring your ass half-stepping?
Yeah.
Oh.
Come on, bro. Now you're making me think I got to get on my cell phone and go show you my shelf of bourbon.
Don't come have. Look, Big Daddy don't have that half-stepping bullshit.
Yeah, but do you have some brass and anchor? That would be good for your collection right there.
James, you're better than me, buddy. I can't have a collection because
you drink it too much. I got a whole collection in the other room. I don't have.
Well, there for a while, I was buying it faster. I got about 7 or 8 bottles open, but I have 164 bottles.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I usually keep 1 bottle at a time in my house. Otherwise,
I got a new one in the truck. I just haven't brought it upstairs yet. It's a Weller 12-year.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hey, so conversation with a vet. Hey, no, I don't mind the state of Tennessee. Y'all put out some decent country singers. They're not as good as Georgia, but they're decent. So I'm not talking shit about the state of Tennessee.
Hey, Kentucky had Billy Ray Cyrus.
Do you know why birds fly upside down over Tennessee?
Because it ain't worth shitting on.
Ain't nothing worth shitting on. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Y'all can all. I'm just kidding.
Whoa! See,
well, Becky's on. So I'm sorry, Becky. I was kidding.
You know what you call a pretty girl in Florida?
A sister.
A tourist.
Your sister.
What you sister? Oh, that's Alabama.
Hey, fellas, I got to jump off.
Alabama.
They're yelling for me out there.
I love you guys. I got to go to my wife.
Love you guys. I'll holler at y'all soon.
All right,
thanks, David. I love you, brother.
Get you some of that brass and anchor, James. As a matter of fact, I'll probably send you a bottle when you come on the 11 April. I'll have you a bottle before then.
Thank you.
Nice.
As long as they come out with another batch.
We'll just call our friends.
Yeah. Before I jump, I want to tell Julie and David, man, y'all need to plan a trip. So this past weekend, I had nothing to do. Me and my family jumped in the car and drove the 30 minutes to Destin Beach and hung out and had a good time. And I'm 15 minutes from Navarre Beach. So
I'm gonna go ahead and say
Let's go.
Get me a talk down there. I'll bring David and Willis with me. He can do HomeFront Sitrep.
Let's
film
go
it while we're there.
Let's do it.
So December, New Year's, we'll be at Floribama.
I'll be there. I'll meet you there because that's not too far. And in fact, while you're here, no bullshit. While y'all are here, you need to make sure you go and visit the USS Alabama, Willis.
Okay.
It's in Mobile, so it's not too far away.
Bob Feller.
But that's where the only Navy chief in the Baseball Hall of Fame, Bob Feller, served on it. But the cool thing about that ship is I'm gonna date myself. The movie Under Siege with Steven Seagal and Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
That's where it was filmed.
Okay.
Was
Yeah,
it at
we'll be
that
down
port?
there.
Was it tied up right there when they filmed it?
Yes.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, we'll be down there for New Year's at Floribama. So
yeah, let's go. That's about a good hour and a half for me.
You guys want to
Nice.
see royalty?
Yeah.
Royalty.
Let's see it.
What is
Hold
that?
on, I gotta.
Hang on, I'm gonna help you out. Jim Beams used to do a lot of decanters. This is the 100th edition of the Kentucky Derby from 1974.
Holy shit!
Wait, it's
unopened.
still sealed, bitches.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
shit.
Where the fuck did you find
Hey,
that?
bro, if you
Wow.
ever, James, if you ever open that, I'll take a needle and I'll main vein that shit, bro. That's good stuff right there, bud. Hell, I'll take it anally. I'll put it fun. We'll do some. We can get.
All right,
I was in
I'm
the
out.
Navy.
All right.
I was in the
I'll
Navy.
let y'all live.
Love
I'll
you,
do
brother.
some Navy shit, bro. I'll do some weird shit.
I've
hey,
got wild turkey decanters up there from 74 and 75 that are still sealed.
Nice.
Mm.
So I'm going to send David tomorrow. I'm going to send you this picture. So I think it'd be a good thing for all the veteran podcasts. I talked to somebody today and I'd love to do it. So I've got a 19 shit. No, I'm sorry. I think it's 19. It's over 100 years. I think it's 1915 or 18 something. I don't remember. But I got a Blue Jackets manual. It's like our Navy's, Bible, really. Like you get it when you
Okay.
go to boot camp. So I got a Blue Jackets manual. What I want to do with it it's original. It's got like it's got money in it, like military money from paychecks, like when people got paid in vouchers, but it's got a guy's name in it. His name is David L. Allen. And it's got like the date he joined, the date he made E4, E5, E6. I'd love to get that out on all these podcasts and see if we can track down somebody in his family. Because I'd love to give that book to somebody, send it to him, mail it to him.
Oh yeah.
So I'll get the information. I'd like to put it out on social media, the podcast, because it's about 100. I think Larry Driscoll did the math for me. It's about 109 years old, 110 years old. So somebody in his family's got to still be living.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Maybe.
Hell yeah.
I'd love to figure out where his family is and get that book over to them. Right.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome to reunite it with the family would be amazing.
Well, it's got like handwritten notes in it where he was taking notes and doing things. It's pretty damn cool.
Oh,
I'll get hard up for some cash and pawn that son of a bitch. So I need to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be pawning a handgun and a Blue Jackets manual. Like, damn, I gotta pay a bill. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll get with you, man. Maybe we can get it out on these podcasts. There you go. That Eagle.
Yeah, that's 40.
429.
I bought a 50 cal Desert Eagle one time. It was like all gold looking. It looked stupid. It's like a drug dealer gun. But the problem is I got
Julie
short
wants
arms.
to go to Florida today.
Yeah, I got short arms, James, and I would fire it and get powder burns. Like it was that bad. The damn flame out the barrel was like stupid.
I had a 50. And,
Let's go, Julie.
I got rid of it right before I became homeless because I needed the money.
Yep.
So I swore him down that one day I'd own one again. And I went to the local gun store and he said, I ain't got a 50, but I got this 429. I said, let me see that thing. So we started looking it up and it's basically a 44 Magnum on steroids. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you the info, Davis. You can get it out to your people.
Well,
it's got his name. Like I said, it's got his name in it. It's got what his job in the military was. So somebody out there's got to be like, oh shit, that's my my great granddaddy or something.
There's got to be a way to track that down. I mean, and just put it out there on all the social media platforms.
Yeah,
Facebook is a wonder when you're in all these different groups and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and good luck with that because I have one from the Civil War. It was a Union soldier. His last name is Beavers, and it was his final pay
ever.
Yeah, and it was his final pay. So he got like $100-something. They took out $30-something for uniforms, and this is what he got. That was his final pay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I tried for years to find somebody.
Yeah.
So there's a band in Barstown. Where's that book from? Do you know?
So this is
James.
James.
Because the Beavers. There's a band called Hard Road. They're all veterans. The lead singer is Jim Beavers. So it might be somebody might be kin to him. So
well, you know what? I'll dig it out. I know exactly where it is.
So, but yeah, we'll get
it's
that
rough.
information out there.
It's got some age on it. It's a little rough, but
Yeah.
you can still read it.
There you go.
Well, guys,
Yep. I was about to say, thanks for letting us take over.
I love you, brothers.
No, I love
Appreciate
it. I love you too, Al. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, and dead serious, David. Talk to Julie, man. If y'all ever want to just come down for a fucking weekend and hang out for a couple of days, man, I got plenty of room. And I'm like I said, I got a pool where hop, skip, and jump from the beach, man. Y'all come down and just bring the kids. Come on down.
Well, you see what she put right here in the chat.
Yeah, come on, Julie.
She's always ready to go to Florida.
I'm gonna dust my Speedo off just for Julie. But my dad bought him my Speedo on, bro. It's going down.
Matt, tell him what I said earlier. Tell him what I said.
He's gonna go sit in Willis's front yard in his Speedo, gonna get a tan.
I'll come with you. Let's do it.
I mean, it was 74 in Kentucky today.
Yeah,
I almost
75
the pan and lotion and the Speedos, bro. I was shit.
Hey, Coralie, I want to say thanks for jumping on, and I'll get that information to you from Al.
Yes.
And then Matt, Coralie said she needs to hook up with you guys. She'll be on the tip of the spear. Matter of fact, coming up on the 28th, she'll be one of the new podcast hosts that's going to be on there with us. Al, you wasn't here for her. She's not a veteran, but her two sons are Marines. So, and her story with her youngest son that's in the Marine Corps now, you'd have to listen to her.
So, hey, a veteran mama and a military spouse, they serve just as much as we do. So I love them, and thank you for your service.
We have to go to college visits in Florida only.
So now I will tell you,
got some schools here too.
So when the youngest graduates, she's a sophomore now. So when she graduates, our plan is to move to Tampa. That's our plan is to
let's go. My whole family's down there, David. I'll hook you up, brother. You're going
Christian's down there too.
Best Cuban sandwiches and food you ever put in your mouth. Some paella, bro. My family's straight swam over here, bro. I got you.
I'm filling my calendar out right now. I'm on with you guys on February 31st.
Nope. February 31st. That'll be next year. You'll be on that day.
But anyway, guys, thank you.
Love you guys
for coming on. Love you too, Al. Be careful, and I'll see you soon. Thank you guys for coming on and hanging out and making this podcast just special, man. I'll tell you, there's nothing better than hanging out with your brothers and just having a conversation for 2.5 hours already.
Dude, this is way better than what we were gonna do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
we're only gonna say that now because the guy no-showed. He knows who he is.
Yeah.
Hopefully
so we have
watching
no show, and he wants to reschedule.
Get schedule fixed, bruh.
Yeah, we'll get him back on. Michael, thank you for jumping on. You're always on, man. Thank you for jumping on.
And happy 1 year there, Mr. Willis.
Well, thank you.
We're going to be talking to you 1 year as a podcaster.
Yes, on the 28th.
But like,
damn, you the veteran, bro, the dirty veteran ass.
I love it. But no, I didn't even play the sponsor videos or anything tonight. So, God,
we're all what are you talking about?
Yeah, we're all on there.
We talked about him. Does that count?
But yeah, hey Al, I don't know if you saw this earlier, but James has got the traveling tribute and the Vietnam traveling wall coming to Shepherdsville, July 25th.
Oh yeah, 30th. I'll come up. I'll get a hotel wherever Shepherdsville's at. We'll get it in. We'll get it in.
It's just south of Louisville.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes from where I live, so it's right off of Interstate 65.
Well, tell Julie I'm staying in the basement. I'm coming.
Nice. Hey, you can hang out.
He's got a hell of a panty drawer.
Hey. I'm gonna be messing with Willis's panties. His silky. Love you guys.
Love you too, brother. Be careful. She just said I'll be sleeping in the bunker if I don't get off this podcast. But no, man, thank you guys for coming on here, hanging out for these 2 hours. It was amazing. I love any time that I get to share screen time with Matt, Al, James, Ty. I love it. So you guys are amazing. I'm gonna wrap it up just by saying, like I always say, man. Here, you know what? Well, let's do this, Matt. Wrap up real quick with what you got to say.
Oh, I was just going to say thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I enjoy going on other shows and talking. You know, we always do our own, but it's good to be on someone else's. Happy birthday. Congrats for a year. And James, I look forward to talking to you very, very soon and maybe seeing if we can get Warrior Rounds down into Texas to do a couple things. That'd be amazing. And other than that, everybody have a good night. And thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. James, wrap it up real quick.
If you didn't learn anything tonight, remember this: talk. Find somebody that you trust.
somebody that trusts you, and just talk. Thanks for having me, Dave. Matt,
Hey,
good to see you
anytime.
again.
So I'm going to wrap it up by just saying what I always say. Look, if you're out there, you're a veteran, and you're talking with other veterans, and you ask them how they're doing, and they say they're fine. You got to ask that next hard question. You got to say, "Hey, how are you really doing?" Because a lot of times veterans are stubborn and we won't open up. But if you ask that next hard question, "How are you really doing?" more than likely they're going to open up to you. So yeah, definitely, and just be kind humans, man. Just be kind. Make sure you love your neighbor. If somebody needs help, you help them. Don't just be, oh, screw that person, I don't know who they are. You got to help them. So be kind, and then like I say, always stay safe out there. And I got your 6. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your 6.